Chapter-481-Master Lu. Lu Han entered Luokang village a day ago and did not use the identity of Captain Anbu. Is wearing clogs and straps on his legs, his lower body is tighter black shorts, and his upper body is a windbreaker with a longer hem, which can cover his knees. Nondescript is right. In the rain, the people are short of materials, and it is not right to wear too formal. At this time, Lu Han looked 17 or 18 years old. He used the ability of Shikatsumyaku, dead bone pulse, to change the bone structure on his face. A little change would make him look completely different. The chin is a little lower, the chin is a little shorter, the cheekbones are a little higher. Lu Han's original face was still relatively handsome, but now he looks ordinary, not a handsome little white face. Luokang village is very strict with unidentified persons such as refugees who join the village, but with Lu Han's ability, it is naturally easy to mix in. While wandering in Luokang village, Lu Han also saw a lot of people with the name Yuhi on their heads. Naturally, they were spies from the enemy forces in Konoha. Elaine was a spy who sneaked into Luokang village, disguised as a wealthy businessman who could escape because of the war. When Lu Han saw him, he was listing on the street looking for an escort because he needed someone to escort him to the hinterland of Yuguo. Shushin village, went to find his wife and son. Come to think of it, he had already completed the intelligence investigation mission in Luokang village, so he chose to leave. Lu Han was hired as a Lawan's bodyguard, disguised as a lone ninja, and his strength was genin. Lu Han thought a lot about this black market mission. The first thing he did was to arrange his way back, so he planned to leave enough traces of himself among the ordinary people in the country of rain. Establish an independent identity that does not overlap with his other identities. Becoming a Lawan's escort and going to the Guardian village, with him is the first step of Lu Han's action. In 3 days, the black market will open. Lu Han hopes to meet more people in these 3 days. These people can prove his identity. And the reason why he was the first to find Elawan was naturally because this guy was the enemy. Lu Han didn't want to kill him yet. For a level 20 gold boss, killing Lu Han would not bring much benefit to Lu Han. In comparison, if he could prove his identity by Elaine, or get in touch with more Sunagakur puppet masters through him, there would be more benefits. Unconsciously, Elaine slowed down his pace and walked in parallel with the young boy Beijing, who had been looking around all the time, looking a little excited. There was a flash of light in Elawan's eyes, and he asked, "Lu, you rarely go out before." Huh. Master Eli, how do you know?" Lu Han asked in surprise. They've seen more people, so I can see it naturally." Elaine pretended to be sophisticated. "So that's what it is, it's amazing." Lu Han seemed to have never seen a young boy in the market. "It's not really that powerful. I've been in business for many years, and I've seen a lot." Elaine paused, then asked, "What do you do at home? You don't look like a ninja, but you have. How can the young master of the Qian family come out as a ninja guard?" Lu Han's expression changed, and then he said sadly, "My parents passed away, and the family's business was ruined." Lu Han didn't say anything, and Elaine didn't ask any more. The two played each other's acting skills for a while. Elaine successfully disguised as a rich, bold and careful businessman, while Lu Han successfully disguised as a rich young master who had to go alone in the world. Both of them performed without any problems. "Who did you learn your ninjutsu from?" Elaine suddenly asked again. "Big brother Black Kiba. He is. It's my father's bodyguard, a powerful chunin." Strong. Chunin. These two words are really unbearable to look at. "Lord Eli, I don't think it's fair." The tall and thin young ninja walking on the other side finally couldn't help but speak. "Meng, the strength is similar to that of Dazongbin. Along the way, Dazongbin and Carmen have always looked bad towards the pseudonym, Lu Han. Of course there is a reason for this." "What's not fair?" Elaine glanced at the big clock. "The 10,000 taels of commission, the 3 of us are divided equally, but this kid is obviously not as strong as us. He may not even have actual combat experience. Why does he get the same amount as us?" "What did you say?" Why do you look down on me? I've killed people before. Lu Han shouted angrily. Little devil, shut up, the bald-headed Kamen shouted, staring at Lu Han with a very scary look. Lu Han seemed to be frightened. Yuhi raised his face and stared at Carmen, but he didn't dare to say anything. In the end, with the strong request of Da Zongbin and the support of Carmen, 11 changed the distribution standard of the commission to 2, 4, and 4. Naturally, Lu was the winner. For this allocation, Lu could only express his dissatisfaction by biting Kiba's teeth and panning Yuhi's eyes. After half a day, a group of 4 encountered the first attack. The attackers were a gang of gangsters composed of 6 ordinary samurai. Da Zongbin took the initiative to express that after easily killing the other 2, the other people scattered by birds and beasts, and then Da Zongbin disappeared. With a masterful face, he walked back to Elawan and glanced at Lu Han with disdain. In this regard, Lu Han just sneered, idiot, mentally. It was dusk, and after a few people walked a few miles, they found a water source before dark, which was a small river. A few people rested by the small river. According to the plan, they will start the road when 10:10 is bright tomorrow, and they will arrive at Shushan village tomorrow afternoon. Late at night, Lu Han leaned on the tree to rest. Suddenly his nose moved, and then he opened his eyes. He smelled a strong bloody smell. Open the insight map and look. On the insight map covering a 10-kilometer range, there are 30 or 40 Yuhi points, of which the big Yuhi point is 2 kilometers away from Lu Han. Sunagakur Puppet Troop Scout Puppet Master, Level 25 Diamond Boss, Eli Yi. Chapter 0482 _ A lot of puppets. Eli, are you in the same family as Elawan? Lu Han thought, with a burning feeling in his heart. Level 25 Diamond Boss. Although the level is low and there is no first kill, but because the Diamond Boss is too rare, its non-first kill explosion rate is 10 times that of killing a gold boss, and more importantly, it can explode the diamond badge. At the same time, on the other side of the river below, a figure covered in blood rushed out of the forest, and the rich bloody aura spread out. On the bank of the river, Elaine, Da Zongbin, and Kamen have all woken up. 2 guards close to Chunin jumped in front of Elawan one after another to take a fighting stance. They looked very vigilant. The man who suddenly rushed out of the forest looked badly injured, but he was dressed as a standard ninja. As long as it is a ninja, even a seriously injured ninja is more terrifying than 10 ordinary samurai. Call. Lu Han jumped down from the tree and stood behind Elawan. The wounded ninja on the other side of the river had already run to the surface of the water. Under the faint moonlight, the name Yuhi on the top of his head lit up, causing Lu Han's expression to look strange. Sunagakur Puppet Troop Scout Puppet Master, Level 20 Elite, Inoue Yi. Elaine should know him. Inoue, is that you? Elaine asked as expected. He was still acting. With his eyesight, he should have seen who the person was coming. Lord Eli. Inoue Yi stopped in the middle of the river and called out in surprise, as if he was overjoyed. Master Eli, you know. Da Zongbin looked at Elaine in confusion, obviously not understanding that Elaine would know the wounded ninja he met by chance. Call. Elaine disappeared on the bank of the river and appeared directly beside Inoue Yi in the center of the river. He asked in a deep voice, what happened? Lord Eli, hurry up. Hurry up over there, it's the hidden group of scumbags, my puppets are all ruined. Inoue Noyoshi said more and more excited, although he didn't explain the matter clearly, but it was enough for Elaine. Damn, Elawan's voice was even lower. Da Zongbin and Kamen were already stunned. The scene just now made them still unable to react. Although Lu Han opened, Elawan's movement speed was as slow as that of a turtle, but even Chunin was not in the eyes of the two of them. Elaine is already an unpredictable master. 2 idiots, aren't you running yet? Lu Han glanced at the two of them with contempt, then turned around and ran away. In ordinary people's adjective for speed, that is to run faster than a rabbit. It was night, and as long as you didn't have to run far into the forest, you would be engulfed by the darkness. It wasn't until Lu Han was engulfed by the darkness that there was no more trace. Da Zongbin and Kamen reacted. Looking back, they still stood there and didn't move. They obviously didn't react. Why did Lu run away? Very simple logic. The opponent is a ninja. Disguised as a businessman, he is obviously carrying out a mission, and now that the other party has revealed his identity, it is natural to kill in silence. Kai, Kai. Two almost indistinguishable sounds of breaking the air suddenly sounded, and Carmen and Dazong fell to the ground in response, all face down, with a kunai sticking in the back of their heads. Shot. With his strength equal to that of a special Jonin, killing two unsuspecting idiots who were not Chunin was as easy as the palm of his hand, and he didn't even need to use his own puppet. Smart kid. After killing the man, Elaine didn't pay attention to the corpse. Instead, he looked into the darkness of the forest. Obviously, Lu Han's reaction exceeded his expectations. Can I still fight? Elaine looked at Inoue next to him. The pale-faced Inoue nodded. Although he was not seriously injured, the wound has stopped bleeding, and his fighting power is still there. Yeah, you go after that kid, it's just a genin with no experience, do it cleanly, and remember to clean up the corpses here. Yes. Elaine catapulted up, fled into the forest on the other side of the river, and quickly went away. At the same time, Inoue jumped onto the river bank here and rushed into the forest, chasing after Lu Han. 3 seconds later, Lu Han suddenly appeared on the bank of the river carrying Inoue's body, threw his body together with Dazongbin and Kamen's body, and spit fire and burned it to ashes. Destruction is what needs to be done, and Elaine wants to hide his identity, so why not? As for the death of Dazongbin and Carmen, Lu Han, who instinctively saved them, doesn't care. He is not the virgin. Many people die every day in the Kingdom of Rain. He can't save a few. Besides, these two are not friendly. Of strangers. It's really troublesome, but fortunately, I have left enough traces in Luokang village. Lu Han sighed, raising his hand and pinching his face. Under the pinching of his fingers, the shape of his face changed rapidly. This time, he turned himself into an extremely handsome, and the legendary little fresh meat with fair skin and beauty was born. This is Shikatsumyaku, Dead Bone Pulse. In fact, Lu Han did not have this ability before. Although he can change his appearance, he needs to maintain the Shikatsumyaku, Dead Bone Pulse, ability and has chakra fluctuations that can be detected. Now he can change his appearance forever. Qualitatively, this is the result of the 3-day retreat before the mission. Secret art. Chain outfit art. Lu Han changed his clothes again. He wore black blood, black pants, black clothes, black cape, and gray bamboo hat. He wore 3 knives, 2 on the left waist and 1 on the right, 2 long and 1 short. This was a warrior dress. At this time, Lu Han the identity has become a samurai who practiced the 3 swordsmanship. A few kilometers away, the battlefield. The fierce battle continued, but because the ninjas on both sides of the battle were very limited, all the damage to the forest was not too big. One of the 2 sides in the battle was more than 20 uniformly dressed ninjas, and the other only had 4 ninjas. Including Elawan who just arrived, the number of people is huge, but these 4 ninjas control more than 20 puppets. Lu Han appeared on a nearby tree, and his eyes lit up immediately. 4th class puppet of the Land of Wind, level 38 Abyss Boss, Wanling. 4th class puppet of the Land of Wind, level 38 Abyss Boss, Wanyi. The 4th class puppet of the Country of the Wind, level 28 Lord Boss, Wan. The Psychic Badge. The Psychic Badge. The Psychic Badge. Lu Han's heart was broken for a while, and he suddenly had a feeling of development, because all the puppets here were hostile targets that he had never taken the first kill. Chapter 0483_Heroes and Heroes See Injustice on the Road. Puppet bosses are divided into 3 levels: Abyss, Hell, and Lord, corresponding to the bronze, white, silver, and gold of human bosses. There are a total of 21 puppets present, except for 2 level 38 Abyss bosses. The others are level 28, 3 Lords, 6 Hells, and 9 Abyss. Sunagakur puppet masters who control the 21 battle puppets. Except for the level 25 diamond boss Eli and the level 20 gold boss Elaine, the other two are level 20 white-silver bosses named Hai Lao Kun, Ghana. 4-person Chunin puppet master who can control 21 puppets is a terrifying thing. According to the puppet master rules that Lu Han understands, a general genin puppet master can only control one low-level puppet that has no autonomous fighting consciousness, while a normal Chunin can control 2 low-level puppets, or an intermediate-level puppet with more complex combat capabilities. The 4 puppet masters present broke this common sense. The problem lies with the puppet master named Eli. He controlled 11 puppets by himself. What's even more terrifying is that he is only a special Jonin, but he can control 2 puppets whose strength reaches Jonin. Maybe that's why he is called the Diamond Boss. His manipulation ability is extremely extraordinary. At this time, it seems that he is controlling 11 puppets, but there are other ninja corpses and destroyed puppets around, so it can be judged that he should have a puppet that was destroyed, and the number of puppets he controls must exceed 11. In addition to him, Elaine is also extremely powerful, and he actually summoned 8 puppets. Compared with Eli, there are 2 less level 38 Abyss bosses and 1 level 28 Lord boss among the puppets it controls. The remaining 2 puppet masters. Yes, each of them only controls 1 puppet, and they are all level 28 Lord bosses with the same strength as their own. Ellie, I remember that the chief puppet master of the Sunagakur puppet army is a guy named Eli Zhao. Could it be that the Eli family is the genius puppet master clan of Sunagakur village? I have to say, Lu Han's the brain hole is very big, and, relatively. Eli clan is indeed the genius puppet master clan of Sunagakur village, but this clan is the same as the Hokage clan in Konoha, although there are many geniuses, but the population is too small, so it is not famous. One thing worth mentioning. That is Eli is very young, looks like maybe 15 or 16 years old. 15 or 16-year-old special Jonin, with extraordinary control ability, is one step away from being an official Jonin. I have to say, this kid is a genius. After observing the puppet and the puppet master, Lu Han immediately turned his attention to their opponents. There were 27 people in total. The prefixes on their heads were all Omegaker Secret Operations troops, led by a level 30 bronze boss. Team, there are 2 level 30 elites, that is, ordinary Jonin, and the rest are all Chunin. Secret Operation Troop, Omegaker Secret Service. These bastards. Lu Han remembered what these ninjas were doing. Omegaker Secret Service. In fact, it would be more appropriate to change the name to Burn, Kill and Loot Troops. What they do is burn killing and looting, collecting money and other war supplies for Omegaker through this method. Oh, that's not right. Isn't Sunagakur and Omegaker a cooperative relationship? How did they start fighting? Lu Han realized that the current war situation in the Land of Rain was Konoha and Iwagakure allies, Omegaker and Sunagakur allied. Originally, Omegaker and Sunagakur formed an alliance. Sunagakur's alliance is nothing but a mischievous scheming, and the alliance relationship is not stable, but the union of Konoha and Iwagakure makes them have to completely form a group, otherwise they will be broken by the Wood Rock Alliance. The current point of view, the alliance between Omegaker and Sunagakur is in the honeymoon period. How did it start? The battle on the battlefield was still extremely fierce. Originally, Omegaker was about to win, and Sunagakur could be completely defeated at a cost of a few more people. However, the appearance of 11 made the two sides evenly matched. Most of the Omegaker ninjas are desperate guys. But their opponents are puppets with no concept of life, so it looks like this will turn into a war of attrition. No one found Lu Han. Lu Han watched for a while, and suddenly felt a pain in his heart. Of course, he was not attacked, but saw a 28th level Abyss boss being crushed half of his body, and he was very distressed. Fuck, my psychic badge. With a whimper in his heart, Lu Han no longer waited. On the battlefield, the genius puppet master Eli, who is now 15 years old and known as the true successor of the puppet master, fluttered with chakras in both hands, manipulating 11 unconscious fighting puppets, rampaging in the enemy's formation, doing so seemingly reckless, but it seems to be rough and subtle. Eli Yi's ability to control the puppets is extremely delicate, and the 11 puppets cooperate like an experienced ninja. The 9 puppets controlled by the other 3 puppet masters are all cooperating with Eli Yi, who is both the main attacker and the commander. Looking at Sunagaku's side, because 2 more people were killed, there were only 25 ninjas left, and the cooperation was quite tacit. Since the desperate tactics didn't work for the puppets, their attack strategy was to kill, and there was only one target: Eli Yi. Obviously, as long as Eli Yi is killed, the battle will be decided. They almost succeeded a minute ago, but they were successfully resisted by the puppet controlled by Eli Yi, for which they also sacrificed the lives of 2 chunin. A group of scumbags who don't know how to live or die. The young master is just playing with you. Do you really think there is a chance to kill me? Eli Yi, who had not shown all his strength at all, just sneered in his heart for what happened a minute ago. Sudden changes on the battlefield. A vague figure rushed into the battlefield and chopped off the head of the Omegakure Secret Department team leader with one knife, followed by a gust of wind swept away the leaves. His breath is cold. His knife is cold. His heart is also cold. The shot is ruthless and merciless. In just half a minute, 25 Omegakure ninjas were all beheaded, and none of them survived. 4 Sunagaku puppet masters were all stunned. Where did this hero come from? See the injustice on the road. Chapter 0484-Ghostly Sorrow and Crazy Puppet Master. Cold wind and bleak drizzle. A black-robed warrior wearing a hat stood beside the headless corpse. He only took out one of the 3 knives, the tip of which was dripping blood. This is a samurai with an extremely handsome and even temperament that makes him a little feminine. Under the hat is a pair of eyes that glitter with sinister colors. Doesn't seem like a very good talker. The 4 puppet masters were all on guard. 20 puppets were distributed around them, forming a very tight protection. They showed enough fear. Who are you? Ellie asked, squinting. Ghost to see worry. Lu Han replied seriously. Ghost sees sorrow. He really lives up to his name. Ellie praised, but the trace of disdain that flashed in his eyes did not escape Lu Han's eyes. I guess what this guy really wanted to say was, shit see worry. He's just a fast warrior, and he doesn't even have the strength of an elite jonin. Yet he dares to use such an arrogant name. Lu Han really did not show the strength to reach the elite jonin. In the words of a samurai, he is a first-class samurai, and he is still a long way from being super-class. Although he destroyed the Omegakure elite squadron by himself, all the 25 ninjas were injured, and the chakra consumption was very high. Killed the strongest jonin with a raid, and the rest was easy to deal with. Samurai, an ancient fighting profession. The modern samurai and the former samurai are completely 2 types of people, because the modern samurai can use chakra, and its ability is not an exaggeration to say that it is a taijutsu ninja, and in the samurai group, the destructive power is the strongest. Good at speed is the most terrible. Ooey. There are similar words in the ninja world. White Fang is strong in speed, which is outrageous, and Hiraishin follows the characteristics of fast in combat use. Therefore, with Lu Han's strength equivalent to a level 30 golden boss, killing the semi-cruel squadron led by a level 30 bronze boss is very easy. After all, he is a samurai who is good at speed, and the killing ability of a modern samurai is inherently it cannot be measured by the rules of the ninja. You are the Sunagaku puppet masters? Lu Han asked again. He was not in a hurry to harvest and wanted to gather some information. Yes. Why are you helping us? Omegakure killed my brother. Isn't Sunagaku and Omegakure an alliance? Why do you guys? It's nothing but a disagreement over the spoils. The spoils are unevenly distributed, and the dog bites the dog. Quote. I'm sorry, I'm outspoken. We are not enemies. Yes. Sunagaku has no grudge against me, but I saved you after all. What do you want? Eli Yi's answer was beyond Lu Han's expectations. He thought Eli Yi would say something like, we can win without you, but he didn't. It would be great if you could give me some money. That doesn't seem to fit the samurai creed. I need money, and being alive is more important than samurai creed, isn't it? Okay, I'll give it to you. Eli Yi took out a stack of money tickets from his arms and handed it to the puppet beside him, the level 38 abyss boss named Wan Ling, who walked quickly towards Lu Han under Eli Yi's control. This is obviously abnormal, yes. If you are really afraid, it is more appropriate to send money with a relatively low-level puppet. Of course, there is a key point, all of which are Yuhi. This group of guys and this group of puppets are always the name of Yuhi. Lu Han's performance was perfect. He deceived Eli Yi, but did not let him change his pervert degree. Wan Ling walked up to Lu Han. The light of the knife suddenly slashed past Wan Ling. Boom. It was like an explosion of hundreds of detonating talismans tied together. Lu Han's knife seemed to trigger the explosion mechanism on Wan Ling's body. Black smoke rose into the sky, and soon dispersed in the rain curtain. The fire quickly extinguished, revealing the location of the explosion of all spirits. It was a large pit with a diameter of 10 meters. The warrior in black was gone, and there were no bones left after the bombing. A moment of silence. Oh, it's really interesting. Eli Yi stared at the big pit with a morbid smile, as if he was admiring his own masterpiece. He didn't care about losing a puppet of Jonan's strength, not even a brow wrinkle. Elaine and other 3 puppet masters all looked at Eli Yi, their eyes flashing fear. The difference between a genius and a lunatic is often just a thought. Eli Yi is an out-and-out lunatic. He is the most talented puppet master among the new generation of ninjas of the Eli family. He is a fighting maniac. It is extremely rare for a puppet master, and what is terrifying is that he is even more outstanding in the attainment of a puppet master. Manipulating 16 fourth-class puppets to the limit. Since the establishment of Sunagakur village, Eli Yi is the second puppet master who can do this before Jonan's strength, the first being Eli Zhao. Eli likes to fight, and likes to hone himself in the fight, trying to take the risk and try to kill the invincible enemy. He made it. Or, he did it again. That warrior in black was not the first, invincible, enemy that Eli Yi killed. Just after the battle with Omegakure, everyone in Elaine knew very well that Eli didn't show his full strength at all. He was the enchanting puppet master who had killed the elite Jonan. Facing the death of his companions, Eli didn't care. He doesn't want to kill the enemy quickly with the strongest strength, but just wants to hone his manipulation ability. It's not the first time he has done this in battle. In this regard, report on Eli Yi and clamor for Sunagakur, who will make Eli Yi pay the price. There are countless ninjas, but they are all useless. Eli Zhao, who has a high power and terrifying power in Sunagakur, suppressed all the discordant voices. I'll go first, you guys clean the battlefield. Eli seemed to have finished admiring his masterpiece, turned around again and left. 10 fighting puppets followed in his footsteps. Phew, Elawan breathed a sigh of relief. He was under great pressure to stay with this junior genius of the same family. Tisk tisk, it's really interesting, just leave like this. The sudden teasing voice made Eli's face change dramatically. The knife light appeared out of thin air, raging among the gathered puppets. Chapter-485-500 There are very few people who can make Lu Han so interested, and Eli Yi can be counted as one, because this guy is calm enough, his acting skills are good enough, and he is decisive enough. It is extremely difficult for a puppet with the strength of Jonan to at least come out, and the cost is high. Eli Yi gave up if he gave up, or under the information that there was no need to kill the opponent at all. I have to say, this guy has a sick mind. No simple ninjas who can be judged as diamond bosses. Of course, Kurigakure is not included in this list. They are a group of guys who have been cultivated in batches, and their growth has little to do with their own talents. Other than that, the other diamond bosses that Cold Shock has come into contact with, whether it is Zhaohai, Mundogan, or Senju Senluo, all have a side worth pondering. That's why Lu Han hid in the dark and observed it for a while, until Eli was about to leave. In the dark night, under the rain curtain, the light of the sword was like a shadow, as if the scythe of the god of death was in Kanai, quickly harvesting the corpses. The puppets were smashed, and more psychic badges flew into the air, turning into streamers and drilling into the sky. In a black body. Luhan received prompts to complete the first kill one after another, but he had no psychological understanding. The wind swept the leaves. Just half a minute later, Luhan finally stopped and looked at the gloomy Eli Yi with a weird smile on his face. Except for Eli Yi, all the other enemies are dead. The 19 puppets were all smashed into pieces, and the 3 puppet masters had their heads cut off. Killing them was a piece of cake for Luhan. Even if it was to suppress his strength, the gap in combat awareness meant that Luhan could not miss. However, Luhan's clothes were still somewhat damaged, with some burn marks. It was the previous explosion that caused some trouble for Luhan. Luhan originally thought that the level 38 Abyss boss puppet would launch a suicide attack, and stepped forward to hug or something. He didn't expect it to be a more straightforward explosion. If Luhan didn't respond quickly enough, possibly injured. In fact, from another point of view, it is incredible to be able to damage clothes by a small character like Eli Yi. If Luhan went back to Konoha and told people, it would be hard for anyone to believe it. Now all the senior ninjas in Konoha know what a terrible guy Anbu Captain Han Guang is. Give you 3 minutes, Luhan said with a weird smile. You can prepare your words, whether it's your last words or begging for mercy. I'll listen to it, and I'll kill you in 3 minutes. Eli's face was gloomy, and the black-clothed warrior named Gui Jianshu sentenced him to death so easily, and he smelled a hint of humiliation. Ha 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 ha, ha 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 ha. Eli Yi suddenly burst into laughter. A creepy laughter. Anyone who can laugh in such a situation, except for Sen Luo's mental illness, is a lunatic. Luhan has no signs of being mentally ill from Eli Yi, so obviously, this is a lunatic. Ha 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 ha. It's so interesting. Why didn't I meet you earlier? Ha 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 ha. Compared to those previous opponents. You, ha ha ha. You are the only one. It's what I need. Eli Yi laughed frantically, and only spoke clearly on and off. If you met me sooner, you would have died a long time ago. Lu said coldly. Really? Eli Yi immediately smiled again. The change was very fast, and the contrast was very strong. Are you sure you want to give me 3 minutes? Of course. I swear by the samurai faith, but I must remind you that half a minute has passed. You'll regret it. No way. I said, you will regret it. Stupid samurai. Eli almost shouted the last sentence, and at the same time, he pressed his wounded right hand to the ground. Psychic. Ando is so beautiful. As expected, at this moment, the corner of Luhan's mouth evoked a subtle smile. Boom. White smoke rose, and a tall figure of 2.5 meters appeared in front of Eli Yi. This is a puppet, but it is more like a human being, a middle-aged strong man in his 30s who is in his prime, wearing a common ninja suit, but without any weapons. He is 2.5 meters tall and is the same size as Eli Yi. In contrast, Eli Yi is like a child, with thick arms, broad arms, expressionless face, but inexplicable colors flashing in his eyes. The special puppet of the Land of Wind, level 48 Lord Boss, and Dao Duome. Are 3 levels of Abyss, Hell, and Lord. I still remember that a few months ago, a Sunagaker puppet master named Menzuo Mulong summoned the Luo Zuo 5 people. At that time, due to the intervention of White Fang, Luhan only killed 1. The puppet is a level 48 Hell boss, and before that, Luhan also killed the puppet that sneaked into Konoha Anbu, which is a level 48 Abyss boss. Luhan has already won the first kill of the 48 level Abyss and Hell boss, but not the 48 level Lord boss. In fact, Luhan was quite surprised. He had long thought that Eli Yi could summon and manipulate elite Jonin level puppets, because according to the evaluation rules of diamond bosses, a 25 level diamond boss must have an ability at least at the elite Jonin level, such as Zhaohai's camouflage performance ability, such as Flying Ninja's ability to control large flying ninja beasts. According to this logic, if Eli Yi is a puppet with exceptionally strong control ability, then he should have the control ability of an elite Jonin level puppet master, so Lu Han thought before that this guy should still be able to give away. But Lu Han did not expect that it turned out to be the Lord Boss. Level 48 Lord Boss, but equivalent to level 40 Gold Boss, the top existence among elite Jonin. Ha 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 ha, are you afraid? Are you afraid? Tremble, ants. Seeing that Lu Han didn't speak, Ellie laughed wildly, thinking he was frightened. Tremble, ants and ants, you can say the middle and second words. Are you a little too arrogant? Lu Han replied lightly. Humph, you're damned. Ellie regained his composure, and at the same time, Andao Duomei moved. At this moment, Lu Han saw the existence that could be called a humanoid monster, and rushed in front of him at a terrifying speed that did not fit his body shape at all. So it is. Lu Han instantly understood. Chapter 0486-Eli and Chio. Eli Yi's manipulation ability is indeed pervert, who can manipulate elite Jonin puppets, but he is not the strongest level 48 Lord Boss, he is a little bit worse. And the reason why this puppet named Andao Duomei can still fight under the control of Eli Yi is because he is a super puppet. The drive core in the super puppet has autonomous fighting consciousness. It is precisely because it has autonomous combat awareness, so Ellie does not need to fully control it, he only needs to exert his normal control ability, and the other deficiencies, the puppet's autonomous combat awareness can perfectly make up for it. This is the scary thing about super puppets. Lu Han still remembered that in the original, Luo Zuo 5 people, the 448 level puppets were all first-class puppets, and only 158 level super elite was a special class puppet. Obviously, the stronger the puppet, the higher the rank. The higher it is, and if there is a low-level high-level puppet, then it can be said that this is a luxury item with a special purpose. The cost of super puppets is too high, the same money can make stronger puppets, why make low-level ones? Naturally there is a reason. Example, the level 48 Abyss boss Thorn that sneaked into Konoha Anbu and was finally destroyed by Lu Han was a special puppet that could be used for infiltration, not an ordinary pure combat puppet. As for this super puppet, Eli Yi, whose strength has not reached the super elite level, belongs to the low level and advanced level, and does not see any special purpose, and has a pure combat type body, then there is only one explanation, this puppet is tailor-made for Eli Yi. This guy's identity must be very special in Sunagakur. Maybe it's not just a genius, otherwise, the super puppet shouldn't be used by him for this kind of special jonin. Is it to exert his ultimate combat power? Or to save his life? Lu Han had a lot of thoughts, but of course he was not idle. He avoided the moment Andao Duomei rushed. Andao Duomei was very fast. Lu Han took out 20% of his speed, and flashed back and forth for more than 10 times. Only then did Andao Duomei throw away, and then, he rushed towards Eli Yi. Lu Han was not in a hurry to kill Andao Duomei, because he wanted to see if Eli Yi had other cards. Of course, the more you give away, the better. But Lu Han was disappointed. Ellie had no other cards, but he avoided Lu Han's approach. Use the teleportation technique. Basic body snap technique, the kind that requires a hand seal to blink. Eli Yi's hand seal is very fast, and his seal seems to be simplified, with only one gesture. Lu Han chased it a few times, and Eli Yi every time, hand seal disappeared away from Lu Han, as if he was playing. He was really making fun of Lu Han, because Lu Han, who went by the pseudonym, Ghost Jonsho, at this time, was a warrior. A samurai who doesn't know how to ninjutsu can hardly catch up with Eli Yi, who has been specially trained in the speed of instant hand seal, based on speed alone. Hey, don't waste your energy, you can't catch me. Don't worry, and Dao Duomei will blow you up with one punch, you won't feel the pain. Ellie sneered after 6 consecutive times. Don't you have any other cards? Lu Han asked. What? Oh, that seems to be gone. After Lu Hanyan finished, he turned around quickly. Andao Duomei had been chasing after Lu Han like a shadow. When Lu Han turned around, he saw a wall slamming into him. Like 2 dragons, strangling away. It's too much. Eli Yi showed a mocking smile, and then the mocking color solidified on his face. Boom, boom. The extremely sturdy Ando Duome exploded into slag under Lu Han's double knife strangulation. Countless mechanical parts collapsed around, and golden light erupted like fireworks. Ding! Congratulations to Subversive 3665 for killing the 48th level Lord Boss. The elf's prompt sounded in Lu Han's ear. The southwestern border of the Rain Country, the Sunagakur control area, where the Puppet Legion resides. In the 7-story tower that has just been built, the lobby on the first floor is brightly lit. In front of the square table on the side of the lobby, a man and a woman are sitting opposite each other. Both of them are about 40 years old. The Puppet Master ninja costume decorated with gold threads on the cuffs has an ordinary appearance and an elegant bearing. The woman is a petite, well-fitting lady in casual clothes. Although she is middle-aged, she can still see a bit of charm on her face. It's not pretty, but it's very attractive. Both of them are high-level figures in Sunagakur village, with prominent identities and high powers. Man, the chief puppet master of the Sunagakur village puppet army, Eli's photo. Woman, chief instructor and senior advisor of Sunagakur village puppet master, Chio. These two are the top puppet masters in Sunagakur village. It is unclear who is stronger or weaker, because they have never fought between life and death, and Chio used to be the chief of the puppet army. The two were drinking tea and chatting. I don't know when this war will end. Chio raised his teacup without worry and looked at the drizzle outside the window. Maybe, we won't be able to live to the end. Yeah, Konoha is aggressive. In the battle between Sarutobi Hiruzen and I a few days ago, I heard that I returned to Kumogakur village and retreated to recuperate. That guy is really more and more scary. Although he said pessimistically, Eli said, but he smiled and looked at Chio with piercing eyes. Chio looked a little unnatural, and lowered his head to drink tea. At their age, many things are no longer easy to explain, and they don't have the energy of young people. Chio's husband died in the middle of the First Ninja World War, while Elisho's wife died a few years after the First Ninja World War. The two were alone for more than 10 years. How's Xiaoyi? Chio asked proactively, as if he had nothing to say. I'm making great progress, and I should be able to become a Jonin within half a year. Eli said with a smile, quite proud. At this time, bang! The door was knocked open, and one person rushed into the room. Before taking 2 steps, he knelt down on one knee and said eagerly, "Report to your lord." Ando Duome was damaged outside. Elijiao's face changed dramatically. He stood up suddenly and asked, "When?" Ando Duome is Eli's guardian puppet, and Eli is Eli Zhao's son. Chapter 0487_cheat kill. Just now, the ninja who came to report the letter eagerly continued. The special stone, belonging to Ando Duome in the center of the puppet formation was completely shattered. All the ninjas guarding the puppet formation were given orders. Once it was confirmed that Ando Duome was damaged, must report immediately. A terrifying chakra has risen on Eli's body. Don't worry, I think with Xiaoyi's intelligence, even if he encounters an invincible opponent, he should be able to escape the danger calmly. Chio's face changed and he persuaded. He knew how high Eli Zhao's expectations were for this son. Much love. When was Ando Tomi called to go? Chio asked the messenger ninja again. It was destroyed a minute ago. The messenger ninja replied quickly. Chio's face suddenly became extremely ugly. In just 1 minute, Ando Duome was destroyed, and the opponent's strength was at least comparable to the second puppet master of the puppet army. Chio can be sure of this, because Ando Duome is the one she designed and designed by herself. Maid. Tell me the location of Ando Duome's damage. Elijiao clasped his fist and roared. Ruya was no longer there, and his face was full of hideousness. Wait, my lord, the messenger ninja said quickly, and then the hand seal disappeared. He had to extract the information on the location of the damage of Ando Tomi in the puppet formation. Most puppets in Sunagakur village do not have this function, but Ando Tomi has it, because it was created by Chio and was specially made with extremely expensive materials. Don't be impulsive. Chio stood up to persuade. His voice was much louder. It won't help you to rush over now. Xiaoyi is very talented. Maybe he has escaped danger. Why don't you? What if he dies? Eli Zhao interrupted Chio. If he dies, he will definitely leave me clues. I will find the murderer through the clues and avenge him. Chio's mouth moved, but she didn't speak again. It seemed that it was useless to say anything, and Eli Zhao had already prepared for the worst. In the forest at night, it was raining, and the broken parts of Andao Duomei flew around, bringing up a lot of metal dust. More than 30 dropped objects turned into a streamer and flew through an arc in the air, drilling into Lu Han's body. I thought it would explode. Lu Han teased, turning around to look at Ellie with 2 long knives in hand. Impossible. It's impossible. You cheated. Eli Yi was completely lost, and even the words of cheating roared out. It is hard for him to believe that Andao Duomei was destroyed like this. Andao Duomei is not omnipotent. It is easy for the super elite Jonin to defeat it, but the problem is that Lu Han did not show too much strength at all. The last 2 swords, but only barely reached the level of Jonin, the elite of physical art. Yes, I cheated, Lu Han admitted generously with a weird smile. He really cheated. It is the unique ability of subversive, vital judgment. Lu Han has never used this ability before. That is because the opponent is not a puppet, and the vital points of human beings do not need to be judged. It is the driving center of Andao Duomei. With the power that Lu Han just hit, it is not enough to break Andao Duomei. Lu Han didn't plan to break it, but he hit the point that was judged to be the key point with great accuracy. The pressure penetrated into Andao Duomei's body. The drive center of Andao Duomei was accurately destroyed, and the internal energy was unbalanced, so it exploded. Damn it! Ellie stared at Lu Han with bloodshot eyes, suddenly snorted, and raised his hands. He is running away. His hand seal is super fast. But unfortunately, his opponent is Konoha Anbu Captain Han Guang. Who said I wouldn't be able to do the teleportation technique? Lu Han appeared strangely behind Eli Yi, and said the last word that Eli Yi heard in his life. The sword light flashed, and a head with wide eyes flew away. To the sky. The headless corpse fell to the ground, and Lu Han immediately crouched down again, reaching out to hold Eli's corpse. Ding! The deprivation failed. Ding! The deprivation failed. Ding! The deprivation failed. Ding! The deprivation failed. Ding! Get the Book of Manipulation. 5 times of deprivation, Lu Han successfully got what he wanted. The so-called Book of Manipulation should be related to Eli's extraordinary puppet manipulation ability, although this ability is not necessarily useful to Lu Han. It is too weak for him, and getting the ability is half the utility, but it is better than nothing. All visible enemies have been cleared. Lu Han immediately opened the Insight map again and confirmed that there were no other enemies within a radius of 10 kilometers, or no one else. After that, he began to clean the battlefield, searched for corpses, and looked for money. Finally, Lu Han faked the battle scene. In fact, he originally planned to burn the body, but after thinking about it, it seemed better to have a situation where Sunagaker and Omegaker killed each other. If this was discovered by ninjas from a certain force, something interesting would definitely happen. 8 hours later. It was dawn, and Lu Han had been gone for a long time. The continuous drizzle washed away many traces of battle on the battlefield. Dozens of corpses were lying all over the place, and the blood had already flowed into rivers. Call. A middle-aged man wearing a luxurious puppet master robe appeared out of thin air in the middle of the battlefield, saw Ellie's headless corpse at a glance, and dodged over there. No, a hoarse roar of sorrow resounded through the mountains and forests here. Eli Zhao had already prepared for the worst, but when he saw his son's body, he couldn't control his emotions, but he soon calmed down, full of anger and hatred. Overwhelmed by his sanity, he told himself that he must calm down and find clues to avenge his son. He started the search. He knows his son too well, a crazy evildoer. Even if he dies, he will leave endless trouble for his opponent. In a short time, the powerful Eli Zhao found what he wanted. On the big tree in the northwest of the battlefield, a metal ball the size of a fist is embedded in the tree body. This thing, which tweets, puppet detective instrument, is something newly developed by Sunagakure Village, which has always been at the forefront of technology. It has only one function. Record the picture. Okay, good. Eli Zhao grinned, and directly erased the manipulation technique that Eli had left on it, and then put on his own technique. Chapter-481-500 Rain Valley. The puppet reconnaissance instrument has the appearance of changing color according to the object, so when it is embedded in a tree, its eye color is the same as the tree body. In the dark night, it is difficult for people to see the abnormality. Even if they notice the difference, it is estimated that they will be mistaken. It's the bump on the tree. Lu Han cleaned the battlefield before leaving, and even searched for the loot that Eli Yi said, but he couldn't find it, and Lu Han didn't find the puppet detection instrument. Mainly because this thing is too concealed, and when Eli died, it automatically stopped and entered a closed state. Lu Han has a pair of eyes that can see names, including people's names, animal names, building names. But many things have certain characteristics, even if they are special things made by man. Lu Han will not directly seeing the name, such as the black market trading order, or the puppet detection instrument, requires identification to see its name. However, Lu Han didn't have the habit of littering his identification abilities, so naturally he couldn't find the puppet detection instrument by chance. The puppet detection instrument looks like a metal ball. Under the control of Eli Zhao, its surface quickly becomes transparent, with the texture of a crystal ball, and the picture is displayed inside. Eli Zhao watched the half-hour-long battle before and after without moving. There were only pictures and no sound. He didn't choose to fast forward because he didn't want to miss any details. The screen was finally frozen at the moment when Eli's head and body were separated. He died, and the puppet investigator lost control and had no ability to record the screen. The final freeze frame picture. Eli Yi maintains the hand seal movement, stands up straight, his head has been flying slightly, the knife maintains the action of slashing diagonally, the blood flower freezes in the air, the warrior in black standing behind Eli Yi he had a weird smile on his face. The shoe is about 1.75 meters tall, about 18 or 19 years old, with a slender body, long black hair, handsome and feminine appearance, practicing the three swords style, possessing extraordinary speed and terrifying insight, and can use low-level skills. Ninjutsu. Good. Good. Ha 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 ha. Eli Zhao said for a while and then burst into laughter. He seemed to be on the verge of madness. In his opinion, this murderer is sure to die, because the characteristics he left behind are too obvious. Not to mention other things, the black-clothed warrior's extremely handsome and feminine appearance greatly reduced the difficulty of searching for Eli's photos. The Kingdom of Rain is not small, but it is not big either. Eli Zhao can not only use the power of Sunagakure, but also the power of Omegakure village. Just give some money. Sunagakure and Omegakure are now in alliance after all. Although there will always be frictions in private for one reason or another, it will not affect the overall situation. Two forces want to integrate, there is always a running-in period. Samurai in black. You'd better leave the country of rain soon, otherwise. Eli Zhao's voice became deeper and deeper, like a whisper of a demon. 2 days later, in the central area of Rain Country, northwest of Kaifeng Grassland, Blood Rain Valley. This is a rather peculiar area in the Land of Rain. Because the rock in the valley is a yuhi-colored brittle rock, it will generate a lot of dust, and the wind will bring the yuhi-colored dust to the sky. The color dust is brought down, making the rain look yuhi-colored, hence the name of Blood Rain Valley. Sengoku era. A few decades ago, people at that time were still superstitious and regarded the rain of yuhi as ominous, so the Blood Rain Valley was regarded as an ominous place, and there was even a horror about the Blood Rain Valley. The legend, I don't know who made it up. According to the rumors released by the black market in advance, On this day, the black market opened as scheduled, and the place was in the Blood Rain Valley. It is worth mentioning that the Blood Rain Valley is very close to a Megakure village, and the black market is opened here. It is really worth pondering. The pit. What a big pit. Which brain-sucking administrator decided to open a black market here? Isn't it okay to look for trouble? In the Bloody Rain Valley, in the Yuhi Cedar Forest, he has changed back to his lone ninja costume and wearing a mask. Luhan walked unhurriedly, with broken thoughts in his heart. Luhan already had the idea of giving up the mission and walking away, because the risk factor of this black market mission has already exploded. If an accident were to happen, it would be so close to a Megakure village that Hanzo would be able to draw a large number of masters with a single wave of his hand. That would be dangerous. No ninja in this world can face the high-end combat power of a ninja village alone, unless Senju Hashirama or Uchiha Madara reincarnation, or practicing impure world reincarnation. In fact, Luhan's judgment of danger was not just speculation, because he had already discovered problems along the way. There are many ninjas in ambush in Blood Rain Valley. The insight map shows that they are scattered all over the valley, almost in a static state. There are hundreds of people in the preliminary judgment. The reason why it is said to be a preliminary judgment is because Luhan can only guess the identity of the other party through the still Yuhi points. And those Yuhi points that were always moving, Luhan didn't know who they were. At present, Luhan doesn't know who the strongest guy is, because the strongest guy is from the black market, guarding the entrance of the black market, and rated as a level 60 elite. Obviously, the black market managers also considered that there may be problems in opening the black market here, so even the gatekeepers have cage level strength. The power of the black market is truly unfathomable. This is inevitable, otherwise why would they host a black market business? Black Zetsu. It must be that guy from Black Zetsu. He wanted to endure a little more chaos in the world, so he opened the black market in such a place. Luhan was powerless to complain, and he stopped when he muttered. He was thinking, should he wait a day before entering the black market? Because in half a day, he will be able to enter the subversive space, and the psychic metal has unlocked a higher level of exchange. Luhan pondered for a while, then suddenly his eyes narrowed, and then he ran to the entrance of the black market. Yuhi Point on the map and stole the location of the big Yuhi Point. Black Market Super S-Class Killer, Level 60 Bronze Boss, Kakuzu. This guy, Luhan really wanted to get in touch first. Because he didn't know when Kakuzu would leave the black market, he might leave in a few hours. In order not to miss it, Luhan chose to enter the black market immediately. Chapter 0489_Luhan and Kakuzu. It's really time to come. Luhan smiled again, his thoughts flew, and he thought of a plan to get in touch with Kakuzu, and even maybe make Kakuzu a right-hand man to help him get out of this dangerous place. The key to this plan is naturally Hanzo, who has just entered the black market. Luhan didn't care about cooperating with an enemy like Kakuzu. After all, the only conflict between the two was that Kakuzu wanted to kill Daimyo, while Luhan was a Konoha ninja. In Luhan's opinion, Kakuzu's strength was impossible to successfully assassinate Daimyo. Because the ninja who is currently protecting the Daimyo is called Hyuga Heiyong. The show is about to begin. Luhan muttered. After getting the information, Kakuzu left the S-Class Mission Junction area for the first time, found an unmanned corner in the central cave, and looked down at the information seriously. The actual value of the information is more than 1 million taels. Of course not a few, it's just a word or a few pieces of information. It's written in great detail, and everyone has to read it for a while. After Kakuzu entered the central cave, Luhan also appeared in the cave and continued to pretend to look at the goods of the black market merchants. Luhan didn't wait too long, and after a while, a gloomy voice sounded from behind Luhan. How dare you sell information to others? Luhan got up and looked back. He saw Hanzo's eyes were gloomy, and beside him was the official black market official named 29. 29 saw that the two had been connected, so he turned and left without saying a word. Trapped, The first time Hanzo came to the black market was an inquiry task, and then he found information about someone buying a daimyo, and then he guessed that this person must be the Konoha ninja who knew Rashomon. The second code name is Black Kiba. You don't even change your clothes. Luhan glanced up and down Hanzo a lot. This guy is still dressed as last time. Since he entered the black market, everyone knows his identity. The former king of the black market, Jianyu-style ghost. It looks like Hanzo really doesn't care. He really doesn't need to care. It's very close to a megacure village. It's his home court. His personal strength is strong enough to break through the sky, so there's nothing to fear. Answer my question. Hanzo's voice deepened. I have to find a way to get in touch with you. Who knew you wouldn't change your clothes? You've also seen that the price of the information I sold was only 1 million taels. In fact, it was just incomplete information, and the timeliness was very short. Besides, why can't I sell the information to others? You didn't give me money to keep it secret. Luhan's words left Hanzo speechless. Indeed, according to the rules of the black market, Hanzo cannot restrict Luhan from selling information to anyone, unless he gives Luhan a hush money under the witness of the black market. In fact, Hanzo is not really angry, just angry, annoyed that this bastard actually gave the information to others first. Hanzo is not worried about anything. He is the most powerful killer in the black market, he was and is now. Well, since you said that, you'd better give me more comprehensive information, otherwise. Don't worry, the weight of this information must be at least 10 million, I am a fool to sell it for 1 million. Find a place with no one. After the Jianyu-style ghost returned to the cave, many black market killers noticed him, including Kakuzu. He saw the Jianyu-style ghost, and Black Kiba, whispering something, and then walked to a distant location. In the dark corner, the Jianyu-style ghost uses futon, wind-style chakra to form a barrier to isolate the two from the outside world. Damn, he also took on the task of assassinating daimyo. Kakuzu's face was ugly. He rarely shows such an expression, and this time, the other party is too important. Have been as many as 5 black market super S-class killers who have taken on the task of assassinating daimyo, and Kakuzu has always been the winner. He was able to escape from the first generation of Hokage back then. Among the black market killers who took on the task of assassinating the daimyo, even if there were those who were stronger than themselves, their strength was limited, and the assassination ability of the other party was definitely not as good as his own. As a result, Jianyu-style ghost also accepted this task. Style ghost has the strength to crush other super S-class killers. In the space formed by futon, wind-style chakra, Luhan and Hanzo are fighting against each other. This is extremely dangerous. Being so close to Hanzo, he is still enveloped by the opponent's art. But Hanzo will definitely not dare to do it here, because this is the black market. Here, as we said last time, you don't have to give me money. Luhan threw the scroll to Hanzo. Hanzo opened the scroll and looked at it quickly. Gradually, his eyes became cold. This information made him dissatisfied. There was too much information with short timeliness, and some of the content was already discovered by Hanzo through other means. That's all? Hanzo asked, looking up. Of course. More than that, Luhan said in a long voice. This information is the one I want to sell for 1 million taels. I'll show you this first, just to prove that I didn't lie. Words. What about other information? Hanzo asked coldly. It's all in my head, and I'll dictate it to you. Speak. First of all, Hokage attaches great importance to the life and death of the daimyo. He has planned to send more people to protect the daimyo, and even plans to connect the daimyo to Konoha village to protect it. Secondly, Hyuga Haeyoung, the head of the Hyuga clan, will protect the daimyo most of the time. Third, Konoha Anbu may be involved in the task of protecting the daimyo. Fourth, Konoha Anbu Captain Han Guang may go to protect the daimyo in a month. Quote. Hanzo was stunned for a moment, and immediately asked again, Han Guang. How did you know that Han Guang would protect the daimyo in a month? Can you know what happened in a month? Of course I have reasons for saying this, but do you think you should pay? Han Guang is another target you want to assassinate. Lu Han's voice contained a treacherous smile. To be too greedy is not a good thing. Hanzo stared at Lu Han. Is there anyone more greedy than black market killers? Lu Han asked rhetorically. Good. 5 million. Hanzo bid decisively. Deal. The information about Han Guang this time is. Lu Han dragged Chang Yin and pretended to be mysterious. No one knew him better than him, and it was a little addicting to betray himself. Chapter 0490_kill that guy. Some time ago, there was a change in Konoha, which led to Han Guang being promoted to Captain Anbu. White Fang has been transferred from Anbu. On the day Han Guang was promoted to Captain Anbu, Hokage gave him a forbidden technique. It is said that it is the forbidden technique of defense and guardianship. At present, Hengguang has retreated and practiced this forbidden technique. I speculate, Sarutobi Hiruzen let Hengguang practice this forbidden technique to protect the name, so I said that Hengguang may go to protect it after a month. Damning, don't doubt, with Hengguang's talent, 1 month is enough to cultivate the S-level forbidden technique. Lu Han is just talking nonsense. But this is purposeful bullshit. Naturally, it was to extort Sarutobi Hiruzen, so I said everything, and when I went back, I asked Sarutobi Hiruzen for the forbidden technique. How do you know Han Guang so well? You even know about the forbidden technique that Sarutobi Hiruzen gave to Han Guang. Hanzo looked at Lu Han suspiciously. Can't you guess? Lu Han asked back, seemingly surprised. You know Han Guang. Hanzo seemed to understand that it was more believable for him to say this himself than to listen to others. Of course, Lu Han replied. This guy is a Konoha Anbu ninja. I should have thought of it earlier. No wonder his true identity has never been found before. It's as if there is no such person in Konoha. Hanzo thought to himself. In fact, he almost guessed Lu Han's identity, but he would never think in that direction. The bone wood is the cold light. How can it be? What are you kidding? Even if this guy is a lunatic, he can't sell information about himself everywhere. Not looking for excitement. Yes, even lunatics dare not. Lu Han is not a lunatic. In fact, if he had known that the person who was tasked with assassinating him was Hanzo, he would not have sold his information if he was killed, but the situation at that time was out of control, and Lu Han was helpless. As for this time, the information is fake, it doesn't matter what you say. Quote. So, Hengguang may go to protect the daimyo in a month. Hanzo confirmed again. It's not 100% sure. After all, he doesn't even know when he will cultivate that forbidden technique, but the possibility is very high. Lu Han replied, he couldn't say too much, but it was not a pity. Hanzo pondered, he was considering whether to take action after a month. In fact, he planned to act immediately after he got this information, but now he has the opportunity to assassinate Daimyo and Hengguang at the same time. It can even be said that, there is no need to specifically assassinate Han Guang. As long as you go to assassinate the big name, Han Guang will be sent to the door by himself. 5 million taels, you haven't given it to me yet. Lu Han reminded. You really treat money like your life. Hanzo sneered, took out a stack of money tickets from his arms and threw it to Lu Han. Can I go? Lu Han asked again. Wait a minute, Hanzo said immediately, looking coldly at Lu Han, I still have a problem. I'm selling intelligence, not answering questions. How much? What's your problem? What happened to Konoha 15 days ago? Hanzo asked a question that had nothing to do with the assassination. 15 days ago, there was trouble in Konoha. This is no longer a secret for a character like Hanzo, but what happened to Hanzo? I haven't found any information yet, but I can only confirm that the trouble happened in the forest in the back mountain of Konoha. Of course he couldn't find out anything, and the participants in the rebellion in the back mountains would not leak their secrets. Gen and Anbu, needless to say. The Hyuga clan is strictly hierarchical. Although it has always been a destabilizing factor for Konoha, they are the Konoha police force. The sense of secrecy is higher than that of the Hyuga clan. Others, such as the guards of Kaharu Udatane and others, Tsunade and others, are all advanced ninjas. Even in the current Konoha, although there are all kinds of rumors, except for the ninjas who participated in the incident, other people. Also the ninjas of the Uchiha clan who did not participate in the war know something. After all, their patriarch died and the entire patriarch's guards were killed. No one knows what happened. I don't even know it, let alone Hanzo. He is honored as a demigod, but is not really a god. Because I didn't personally participate, and I didn't know much about it, this matter has a huge impact, and the confidentiality level is the highest top secret, so 5 million is fine. Deal. Hengguang killed Uchiha Yokoyama. Danzo has an unshirkable responsibility for this, and was removed from Hokage's assistant physician by Hokage-sama. It is said that even Sarutobi Lake Biwa was implicated, that's all. Luhan said the truth, it may even expose himself to be the cold light. After all, Hanzo once provoked the relationship between Luhan and Sarutobi Bawako, and he also knew that Sarutobi Bawako was a very suspicious person. If you think of Ji Yumyu and Han Guang as one person, you can figure out many things right away, or make reliable guesses. Hanzo is a smart man, he must have thought of this. And just because he is smart, he will think more. For example, if this guy in front of him is really cold, how dare he mention Sarutobi Lake Biwa? If he was really cold, how could he kill Uchiha Yokoyama? The last time Ji Yumyu used all his strength in the forest outside the black market, that kind of strength will definitely be killed by Uchiha Yokoyama. Hanzo thinks more and thinks more deeply, so he will completely rule out the idea that Black Kiba is Hengguang. Being smart is mistaken for being smart. It's talking about someone like him who thinks too much and is too smart. Luhan provided real information, and he was not afraid of Hanzo guessing other things, as long as he didn't find out that he was Hongguang. Luhan's mission this time was highly authorized by Sarutobi Hiruzen, so he would betray Konoha's intelligence here, there would be no problem, and if there was any trouble, Sarutobi Hiruzen would cover him. Okay, Hanzo nodded after thinking for a while, then took out 5 million taels and threw it to Luhan, then disappeared immediately, and the futon wind-style chakra barrier also dissipated. The insight map shows that this guy left the black market directly. Outside the black market, Yuhi Cedar Forest, Hanzo stands under the tree, waiting. Sir, a voice came from behind Hanzo, but no one appeared. Kill that guy. Yes. Chapter 0491_no flaw is the biggest flaw. The guy Hanzo was talking about was naturally, Bonewood, or Black Kiba. He had already arranged before coming to the black market, so it doesn't need to be said in detail. In fact, before Hanzo came, he was hesitating whether to kill Bone Mu. On the one hand, he considered that Ji Yumyu was a hidden traitor of Konoha, and his existence would not do any good to Konoha, but would only create chaos. From this point of view, it should not be killed, it should be kept, or even drawn. But on the other hand, Hanzo doesn't like to have too much contact with strangers, because he is afraid that the other party will find out his secret and sell information about him. It's very dangerous. Therefore, whether to kill the Bonewood or not is between the two. And now, Hanzo has made up his mind to kill him. There is no other reason, no matter what to hide the traitor, or what to leak the secret, there is only one reason why Ji Yumyu must die now, that is, he gave Hanzo a very uneasy feeling. Hanzo didn't even see any flaws in this guy. There is even an unfathomable feeling. There is a saying that is good, there is no flaw, it is the biggest flaw. Hanzo is a thoughtful person, and at the same time he is a very straightforward person. I can't find your flaws, I can't find out if you have any problems, then I don't want to kill you, it's all over. The problem with Hongguang is not only that his performance is too perfect, the key is that he has also exposed Rashomon, which proves the fact that he is a genius ninja. Do it cleanly, and it's best not to let people in the black market find out. Hanzo in front of the tree explained again. I'll do it myself, replied the voice. Yeah, Hanzo finally responded and disappeared directly in place. After Hanzo left, a black shadow flashed across the yuhi cedar tree behind him, and disappeared in a blink of an eye. In the black market, the central cave. After Hanzo left, Luhan breathed a sigh of relief, and seemed to have lied to Hanzo. When the two exchanged just now, Hanzo had been looking into Luhan's eyes, and Luhan was also looking into Hanzo's eyes. It was undeniable that both of them had extremely strong feelings. With strong observation skills, Luhan obtained the inheritance of Guozhouhai and Hanzo. He is known as a demigod. Therefore, Luhan was sure that Hanzo didn't find a problem in himself, even if he once showed a suspicious look. If Luhan really doubted a person, he would definitely behave very calmly, and Hanzo is also such a person. I hope the journey will be safe, tisk tisk, but unfortunately I don't have the strength to kill Hanzo. Otherwise, why would I need such trouble? Just sell him some flaws, and wait for him to catch up and kill him. It's a pity, it's a pity. This kind of thing, Luhan only I can sigh in my heart. After all, Hanzo is too strong. At present, the strength of the three Tsunade has crossed the threshold of cage level. With their current growth rate, their strength will inevitably reach a higher level in a few years, but it is stated in the original book that after a few years, even if people work together, they can't win against Hanzo. Speaking of which, it was a very strange thing for Hanzo to let the three of them go. Luhan didn't know if there was any inside story. Is the information still for sale? Luhan was standing in the dark corner with a long sigh, when an indifferent voice suddenly sounded from the side. Sell, Luhan replied directly, looking up. Kakuzu who asked the question. Luhan knew that Kakuzu would definitely come. Kakuzu, according to the original records, this is a man who puts money first. He loves money like his life, and the commission for assassinating daimyo is as high as 100 million. He naturally wants to get it. Impossible to imagine what it was for. Jianyu Shiki took over the task of assassinating daimyo. With the financial resources of Jianyu Shiki, he must have purchased more advanced information. Kakuzu thought of these 2 points, so he came to Luhan. He didn't want to give up this mission, even if the Jianyu-style ghost took over this task. The two of them could not conflict at all. Kakuzu just had to kill the daimyo before the Jianyu Shikigami. Therefore, he came to Luhan to buy more advanced intelligence. If he did not outperform the Jianyu-style ghost in intelligence, it would be difficult to complete the assassination mission before the Jianyu-style ghost. Call. The black barrier appeared again, enclosing the two of them. This is 5 million. Kakuzu took out the money ticket directly. No, I've raised the price. I want 10 million. Luhan rubbed his hands together. Kakuzu's eyes froze. He Kiba dared to sit on the ground and raise the price. He hadn't been coerced like this for a long time. You are too greedy, Kakuzu said coldly. He was a little hard to accept. It was hard for anyone else to accept it, not to mention someone like him who pursues the principle of money first. That guy said the same just now. Luhan replied hoarsely. Kakuzu was silent. Luhan had already hinted that he had bought more advanced intelligence, and he had to consider whether it was worth 10 million to buy this intelligence, although compared with 100 million, 10 million was only 1/10, but if the task is not completed, what's more than the pain? Okay, I'll change the terms. Luhan spoke again. Huh, Kakuzu squinted at Luhan, not understanding what Luhan meant. To be honest, I've gotten into some trouble recently. Luhan spoke slowly, as if he had something to hide. Although I am not afraid of trouble, in order to prevent accidents, as long as you can escort me away, I will give your intelligence, no money. Kakuzu-style ghosts want to kill people. Kakuzu said immediately. Maybe, I'm not sure if he will kill me, but one thing is certain, even if he wants me to die, he will not do it himself. Luhan said. Why? Because as long as he kills me, no one will dare to sell information to him in the future. Very simple logic, but also irrefutable logic. Kakuzu was silent. He was considering whether to agree to this matter. As long as he agreed, it would save 10 million. Hiring him directly for short-term protection missions does not have this price. In this way, we can make another agreement. Luhan continued, if it is really the Jianyu-style ghost who wants to kill me personally, you can stand by and leave, you can. How about it? Deal. Kakuzu finally nodded. Chapter 0492_Walk with Kakuzu. Kakuzu's IQ is obviously not low, but he's not too intelligent. Knowing how to count money doesn't mean he can count on people's hearts, so he was successfully induced by Luhan to take on this extremely dangerous mission. Raising the price by 10 million is the incentive, and letting Kakuzu escort saves 10 million for the intelligence is a secondary inducement. Telling Kakuzu that he can avoid confrontation with Hanzo has the effect of making a final decision. Kakuzu did not bargain, and Luhan has already admitted the threat. From Hanzo, this guy didn't even raise the price. Instead, I've been thinking about saving $1 million. All this is not unexpected to Luhan, because Luhan knows that Kakuzu is a person who pursues the principle of money first, but he is very principled. He can kill for money, but he will not kill for no reason. In the original work, Kakuzu is a guy who will do odd jobs when the money is not enough. He has that kind of strength, so why not grab it? Because he has principles. So, Luhan persuaded Kakuzu, and don't worry that Kakuzu will attack him halfway. If it were another black market killer, he might have done this, because Luhan has a lot of money and can still ask for information. But Kakuzu won't, because no one gave him money to kill Luhan. Luhan likes to deal with principled people like Kakuzu. Compared with the fickle and scheming Danzo, getting along with Kakuzu is very simple. After Kakuzu agreed to Luhan's request, his name changed from Yuhi to Orange. There were two reasons. First, he had been hired by Luhan in disguise. Second, Luhan didn't care much about the life and death of Daming. In fact, even if Kakuzu kills the daimyo tomorrow, Luhan will not go after Kakuzu unless he gets the task. Therefore, the hostility between the two has completely faded. For the next half a day, Luhan still sold information on Kabuto in the black market. Naturally, it was the information about the daimyo. It was inappropriate for him to do so. After all, this information was used to deal with Hanzo, but Luhan considered that even Hanzo had already obtained the information and gave it to others. What does it matter? At this point, Konoha no longer cares that other people will assassinate the daimyo, only Hanzo. From this point of view, the more people who know the information, the better, because then, there will be more ninjas who take on the assassination mission, and they have a competitive relationship. If they know each other, a fight may break out. The more chaotic, the greater the impact on Hanzo, the more beneficial for Konoha. In half a day, Luhan sold another 6 pieces of intelligence worth 1 million taels, which were purchased by 2 Super S-class killers and 4 S-class killers. Luhan was very suspicious that the 4 S-class killers bought the intelligence. They all have ulterior motives. After all, S-class killers cannot accept the task of assassinating daimyo. They may be the nails hidden in the black market by other forces. However, it doesn't matter. At dusk, Luhan and Kakuzu left the black market together, carrying a huge sum of 18 million taels. Luhan was still a little excited. The ninja world is a world where the strong are respected, but it always revolves around money, and money will never lose its value. The sky gradually calmed down, and the light Yuhi-colored rain curtain shrouded the Yuhi cedar forest. Luhan and Kakuzu were marching towards death one after the other. According to the detailed agreement between him and Kakuzu, Kakuzu would escort him away from the core area of the Land of Rain, in fact, to stay away from the black market. With a Megakure village, but Luhan didn't say it clearly. The two of them traveled at a moderate speed. Including the rest time, it was almost a day and a night. After they left the core area, Luhan would send the information to Kakuzu. 10 million taels a day and a night. The more Kakuzu thought about it, the more he felt that he had made a profit. His thinking fell into a dead end, and he never realized that he was fooled by Lu Han. Safe journey. Until nightfall, Lu Han didn't find any problems. The insight map showed that the group of ninjas arranged in the Blood Rain Valley did not move, which made Lu Han relieved again. A megacre village is a forbearance growing in the continuous killing. Although the population and the number of ninjas are quite different from those of the 5 major ninja villages, there are many masters. According to the original book, the Tsunade 3 fought against Hanzo only at the end of the Second Ninja War, that is, in the 36th or 37th year of Konoha, and obtained the joint title of Konoha Sanin through the mouth of Hanzo. In other words, in this ninja war, which can be regarded as a catastrophe in the ninja world, a megacre village relied on a small number of ninjas to survive the most brutal period of the ninja war. The core battlefield can be in the country of Rain. Compared with the strength of other ninja villages, a megacre village needs to pay more to maintain the war and maintain the material supply line. At night, Lu Han and Kakuzu had already left the Blood Rain Valley, and had crossed the entire Kaifeng grassland and entered the giant bamboo forest in the southeast of the Kaifeng grassland. The so-called giant bamboo forest is naturally a bamboo forest composed of huge bamboos. The bamboos here are really huge. Most of them are over 100 meters high and over 1 meter in diameter. Some individual giants are hundreds of meters high and several meters in diameter. Perhaps, such incredible bamboo forests can only be nurtured in places like the Land of Rain where the rain is extremely abundant. Lu Han and Kakuzu stopped their journey after nightfall, and found an open space in the giant bamboo forest as a place to stay. Originally, Kakuzu proposed to travel through the night, but Lu Han rejected it, on the grounds that what should come will always come. In fact, I want to enter the subversive space tonight. If I keep on the road and stop suddenly before the early morning, it will make people feel very strange. Night, getting deeper. The fire in the open space had already been extinguished, and the rain was getting heavier and heavier. There was a huge bamboo on the southern edge of the open space, 3 meters in diameter. At this time, a door had been cut open in the bamboo, and Lu Han and Kakuzu were hiding under the huge bamboo. Take shelter from the rain in the space of the last section. Why did you choose me? Kakuzu asked suddenly, closing his eyes and resting. You are more famous. I know some things about you. In comparison, I don't know other people. You are a little more reliable than them. Lu Han, who was sitting on the other side, replied, looking up at Kakuzu. Kakuzu said nothing. Someone is here. Lu Han suddenly stood up. The insight map showed that a large Yui point entered the monitoring range of the insight map from 5 kilometers north, moving at an outrageous speed, and went straight to the location of Lu Han. Chapter 0493_Flee Without a Fight. Unique Yuhi name is naturally displayed as a big Yuhi point on the insight map. Captain Omegakure Anbu, level 60 bronze boss, Smoke. It's him. Lu Han immediately thought of some information about the person who came. In Konoha Anbu's top secret information, there is very little information about Smoke. Unlike Konoha White Fang is Hitaki Tsukumo. A lot of information can be found at the first level, and Cigarette. This guy has no second identity, the only identity is Cigarette. Yan's record is not many. Although the country of Rain has been in war for many years, he has made very few shots, and Konoha has not investigated the exact information about his fighting ability and fighting method. Most of the information about Smoke is based on conjectures and assumptions. Only one piece of information is relatively accurate. This information comes from the black market. Smoke can turn itself into smoke. And the statement that smoke can be smoky has never been confirmed, and there is no other reason. This guy has never lost and never left a living. It's just a level 60 bronze boss, but it's so evil. Lu Han said, killing a target that didn't even get the title of Silver White, it's not fun to kill. After all, Lu Han is not alone, and Kakuzu, besides, no more kills. The speed of the smoke is very fast, comparable to the speed of sound, and he moves in a straight line. It seems that he does not need to bypass any obstacles, and he can cross a distance of 3 or 4 kilometers in 10 seconds. He's a very powerful guy, be careful. Luhan said in a confirmed tone, and then even jumped out of the huge bamboo with Kakuzu. The rain was still falling, the night was thick, and the bamboo forest was extremely dark, but Luhan and Kakuzu were both cage-level ninjas with excellent eyesight. Call. Smoke is coming. With Luhan's eyesight, he tightly caught a black light 100 meters away, and then a black figure appeared. This figure was wrapped in thick black smoke, no more than 1.6 meters tall, thin and small, but because of with the existence of black smoke, no one can see his true face clearly. This guy, Kakuzu's eyes were very fearful, because he smelled an extremely dangerous breath from the smoke. Why did you stop? Luhan said in a relaxed tone. I'm afraid when you see that we are two people. Yan is too mysterious and his abilities are unpredictable. Luhan tried to learn more through language, although it might not be effective. Kakuzu. Yan made a low voice that didn't resemble a human voice, looked at Kakuzu, then at Luhan, then turned into a black on. Back on the same road. Run. This guy ran away. Luhan and Kakuzu were stunned at the same time. This ghost didn't play cards according to the routine. The insight map shows that the smoke really ran away. The speed of leaving was faster than when he came, and after 10 seconds, he was out of the range of the insight map. Is this the kind of Captain Omegakure Anbu? Afraid of dying? No. This is not to be afraid of, but to seek advantages and avoid disadvantages. Yan is not passive, but active. His goal is only one, and that is this Konoha ninja called Black Kiba. He is ready to kill, but something unexpected happened, the black market. The Super S-class killer Kakuzu turned out to be with the Black Kiba, which broke the original plan made by Yan, and he was not willing to take the risk for it. Yan did not fail, not because he was strong against the sky, but because he understood that hard work often cannot solve problems. This is an extremely calm and very decisive guy. Damn it. He will definitely report to Hanzo. Maybe, Hanzo will come over in person. With this guy's speed, it won't take long to get back to Omegakure village. Luhan, who had recovered, suddenly thought that it wasn't his brain. The response was slow, but the smoke retreated too decisively. Such a shameless opponent Luhan had not met for a long time, and his brain was a little short-circuited. This guy must have come to kill me, but he recognized you and knew your strength, so he chose to retreat, probably to find helpers. We have to get out of here quickly. Luhan said quickly. He originally planned to entering the subversive space today. It looks like it will be delayed, and it is important to escape. It is not shameful to escape for one's life, it is a fool to have to fight against it knowingly that the opponent is too strong. Late at night, Omegakure village, dark room. Da. The sound of the fingers tapping the desktop lightly one after another is particularly clear in this quiet environment. Sir. A cold voice suddenly appeared in the darkest corner of the room. The beating stopped. Hanzo opened his eyes and asked indifferently, "What's wrong?" Of course he didn't count, but the smoke came back early. Kakuzu is with him, Yan replied. Oh, Hanzo was a little surprised, because he only gave Yan the task of assassinating Black Kiba, and he didn't let others stare, so he didn't know that Black Kiba left the black market with Kakuzu. Humph. That guy, really be careful enough to find someone to go with you. Forget it, I'll go there myself. When the voice fell, Hanzo had disappeared from the room. Time flies, 5 days later. Naturally, Hanzo didn't catch up with Luhan, and he wasn't really a god. When he arrived at the bamboo forest, Luhan and Kakuzu had already been far away. It was raining too much and there was no clue to follow. Although Hanzo was unwilling, he could only go back. But he later ordered the search for Black Kiba throughout the land of rain. This didn't cause any trouble for Luhan, because Luhan changed his identity and image. The southwestern battlefield of the Rain Country is the main battlefield where Konoha and Sunagakure fought. Recently, Konoha suffered a big loss on the battlefield here for only one reason: a large number of ninjas were poisoned. This is a non-lethal poison, but it is extremely difficult to detoxify. For this reason, Tsunade has not rested for days and nights, trying to crack the poison. Konoha's second main battle army frontline secret stronghold, in a quaint wooden house. Tsunade with bloodshot eyes sat on a chair, flipping through the scrolls in her hands. There were 7 or 8 scrolls on the table in front of her. These scrolls were all wisdom left by her predecessors. And what Tsunade is reading at this time is a volume of notes called Jouhai Detoxification. That's right, this note was written by Jouhai more than 10 years ago. At that time, Jouhai was not only a master of disguise, but also a drug maker and detoxifier. Grandmaster. At the same time, at the entrance of the stronghold, a samurai who calls himself Ghosts is negotiating with the guard ninjas. Chapter 0494_Luhan wants to kill monsters. This is a small stronghold hidden in the mountains. It is very close to the main battlefield, but it is also very hidden. There are only more than 100 ninjas in the entire stronghold, and there are only ordinary ninja brigade. In the jungle, a thin samurai in black is negotiating with 2 Konoha Chunin. If your excellency cannot give a reasonable explanation, then don't blame our subordinates for being ruthless. The bald Chunin said with an expressionless face. 2 Chunins pulled out the knife, the other kept the hand seal action, and both were ready for battle. They both understood that the warrior with the hat in front of him was abnormal. Why was it abnormal? Because many traps have been set up in the forest around the stronghold, some of which were set by Mr. Orochimaru himself, but this guy was able to walk over without destroying the traps, no problem. I want to see Tsunade, said Luhan, who had already reported the name. Goes to see, you can't verify my identity, and you don't know me. 2 Chunins changed drastically. How did this guy know that Tsunade was here? Call. At this moment, a figure appeared behind the 2 of them out of thin air, and asked coldly. Master Orochimaru. The 2 Chunin quickly stepped aside and turned to greet him respectfully, and then the bald Chunin said, this person claims to be a ghost, and wants to see Lord Tsunade. Oh, Orochimaru in black robe frowned and looked at Luhan. Luhan has changed a lot at this time, his breath and eyes are different from before, and more importantly, that handsome and somewhat girlish face is so anti-human, that Orochimaru, who is very familiar with him, did not immediately notice him. Recognize him. Who are you? Orochimaru asked with a frown, his fingertips moved subconsciously. He had the urge to ask for a hand seal, because he smelled an extremely dangerous aura from the warrior in front of him. Strength reaching the level of Orochimaru, his 6th sense is already extremely sharp. Remember, at that time, in the cave, you were injured, and you made too many demands on me. Luhan said lightly, blinking at Orochimaru. Orochimaru came to mind right away. Injuries, excessive demands. Orochimaru has been carrying out missions with Tsunade and Jiraiya all year round. Not counting these 2, there is only one person who meets the above 3 conditions, Han Guang. The 2 Chunin looking at Orochimaru were already very strange, and even said something strange. After all, Luhan was very naughty at this time, and he talked about excessive demands. It was always well known that Orochimaru didn't have a girlfriend. In fact, what Luhan said was an excessive request, nothing more than that Orochimaru wanted to accept Luhan as a disciple, but the 2 Chunins obviously already had dirty thoughts. She's inside. Orochimaru tilted his head at Luhan, then turned and walked into the depths of the forest. Luhan followed Orochimaru's footsteps. Why are you here? Mission. After asking and answering, there was no sound, but it also solved the doubts in Orochimaru's heart. Why does it need to change his appearance and hide his identity if it is not a mission? The mission performed by Captain Anbu, Han Guang, was obviously a secret. Orochimaru would not ask much, nor would he be too lazy to ask. Orochimaru didn't know was that Luhan's mission was over 4 days ago and he could go back directly to Konoha, but he didn't go back right away. 4 days ago, Luhan and Kakuzu left the core area of the Rain Country and parted ways. Before leaving, Luhan gave Kakuzu information, but it was different from Hanzo. Luhan told Kakuzu that the Jianyu-style ghost was Hanzo, and he knew how to do it. Assassinate daimyo a month later. These are two pieces of information, which are extremely heavy. If Luhan expects it well, Kakuzu will definitely assassinate the daimyo within a month. Before Hanzo starts, Hanzo is known as a demigod. The idea of fluke has been abandoned. After parting with Kakuzu, Luhan decided after some thought that he would not go. He wants to brush monsters. Brush the puppet. At present, his strength has reached the bottleneck period, and it is difficult to make great progress in a short period of time, and the threat of Hanzo is always there. Luhan doesn't like this feeling. He wants to resist, since he can't improve quickly in a short time. One's own strength can only rely on foreign objects, puppets. Kill enough puppets, you can get enough psychic badges, you can exchange for strong enough puppets. After Luhan made his decision, he went straight to the southwest battlefield. This is the main battlefield where Konoha and Tsunagakure fought, and the Tsunagakure puppet army fought here. Along the way, Luhan changed his route several times and changed his identity several times in order to avoid Omegakure's search. After that, he first arrived at the 2nd Main Battle Legion's station, and revealed his identity to the leader of the 2nd Main Battle Legion. A greeting prevents him from being treated as an enemy when he joins the war or causing an accident to reveal his identity. Unexpectedly, he got news from Tsunade. Tsunagakure recently used a very potent non-lethal poison, which was used on a large scale in Tsunagakure ninja weapons, causing a large number of Konoha ninjas to lose their combat effectiveness due to poisoning with minor injuries. Why not use lethal poison? First, lethal poison is easier to crack, and it is dangerous to oneself when used. Second, lethal poison will not burden the enemy. So the poison is non-lethal. Large number of Konoha ninjas have been poisoned, and they need more ninjas to take care of them. It is impossible for Konoha to give up on them. If this situation is maintained for a long time, it will be enough to drag down the logistical support of Konoha. This is the result Tsunagakure wants. Luhan, who knows Akatsuki's original work, knows that all poisons are developed by Chiyo, but they will all be cracked by Tsunade. Currently, Tsunade is working on cracking Tsunagakure's first poison. This secret base was where Tsunade used to research antidote. Orochimaru led the way, Luhan followed all the way, and went all the way to the bottom of the low mountain deep in the forest, where there was a row of wooden houses hidden under the shade of trees, which was difficult to find from a high altitude. The wooden house in the middle, Tsunade watched Jouhai detoxification, with extreme irritability. Jouhai is a geek, and his detoxification method is also unusual, which is completely different from Tsunade's long-standing detoxification concept. Understand the feeling. It's really unreliable to rely on the wisdom of predecessors to detoxify. After all, the times are different. Tsunade laughed at himself. Chapter-485-500 Marry Me. Isn't it? The wisdom of our predecessors is the precious wealth of our younger generation. As soon as Tsunade finished speaking, a frivolous voice sounded outside the door, and footsteps gradually sounded. Tsunade frowned and slammed the scroll on the table, turning to look at the door. Orochimaru pushed open the door. Actually, Tsunade had already sensed Orochimaru's aura before. As for the one beside Orochimaru, it was very unfamiliar. Tsunade thought it was a ninja in the stronghold, but now it doesn't seem to be the case. The one next to Orochimaru is a tall and anti-human black samurai with a thin and handsome appearance. Didn't I say, don't disturb me? Tsunade glanced at Luhan and chose to ignore it, talking directly to Orochimaru. A bead of sweat was evident on Orochimaru's temple. Even if he is super strong, even if he is frightening, even if his temperament is as cold as winter, he still understands that the irritable Tsunade can't be offended. Konoha's first female man is not Tsunade's self-proclaimed, but it is recognized that if you don't want to bear the wrath of the female Tyrannosaurus, you should stay away from her when she is irritable. He's looking for you. Orochimaru bit his head and pointed at Lu Han, completely guilty of trying to shift his focus. I don't care who you are. But the tone of your voice, the look in your eyes, I hate it. Orochimaru can let you come here. It means that you are not the enemy of Konoha, but I hope you will get out of my sight immediately. No. Countdown. Tsunade was obviously in a state of irritability similar to menopause. She didn't even give Lu Han a chance to speak. She didn't recognize Lu Han. As the person who knew Lu Han the most, she still didn't see the flaw. Lu Han is a new generation of camouflage masters. If he doesn't take the initiative to reveal his flaws, there will be no flaws. I'm here to help you detoxify. Lu Han said with a smile. Introduce myself. The next 3 swordsman warriors, Gui Jansho, and Lord Orochimaru used to be friends in the cave. What the hell is the turn of the cave? Orochimaru gave Lu Han a strange look, obviously not understanding why Lu Han didn't reveal his identity. Could it be bad taste? Orochimaru is not sure if it is a bad taste, but he did not refute Lu Han's words. Although he has many annoying shortcomings, he has a very commendable advantage, that is, he never cares about his own business. He knew that it was impossible for the cold light to hurt Tsunade, and that was enough. He didn't care about the rest. Are you here to help me detoxify? Are you a third-rate warrior who understands poison? Correction, it's a 3-knife flow, not a third class. Tsunade ignored what Lu Han said later, and looked at Orochimaru again. It seemed that she was on the verge of going crazy. Didn't you say don't bother me? What's this guy coming from? It's all said. We are friends in the cave. Lu Han said first, and then looked at Orochimaru again. Lord Orochimaru, I know you are worried about being beaten now, so you can go. I am here, don't worry. No surprises. Quote. Orochimaru turned around and left without any hesitation. He wanted to leave for a long time. Tsunade's face changed, and Orochimaru's reaction when he said he would leave, was beyond her expectations, and even surprised her a little. What's the origin of this person? It seems that his relationship with Orochimaru is extraordinary. Orochimaru seems to trust him very much. Could it be? Tsunade set his eyes on Lu Han's handsome and girly face, and couldn't help but ponder. Hey, don't think about it, bastard, I'm a pure man. Lu Han cried out strangely. He saw through Tsunade's mind. Can you detoxify? Tsunade changed the subject directly, because she thought of another possibility. This person was a master of poison among the samurai, and he was a helper found by Orochimaru. I understand a little. Lu Han smiled, walked into the room and walked directly to the table. There were a total of 8 scrolls on the table. The others were all rolled up. Only one was half open, revealing the words inside, and Lu Han saw the words, Jiaohai detoxification, at a glance. God's will. Lu Han sighed in his heart, and directly picked up the corner sea poison solution. In fact, the reason why Lu Han came here was not only to say hello, but also to help Tsunade crack the poison. At first, he killed Jiaohai and gained Jiaohai's camouflage ability. During the process of obtaining the ability, Lu Han saw Jiaohai's life segment, including the information on detoxification and detoxification, was directly injected into Lu Han's mind. Therefore, Lu Han is now not only a master of disguise, but also has a strong ability to produce and detoxify. I still remember that a year ago, Lu Han used poisoning methods when he deceived Captain Kurigakure Anbu and others in the Land of Water. The impact of Jonin's blood fog shows how terrible its poison-making ability is. Don't look at that, it's useless, it's just misleading the children. Tsunade couldn't help but remind him coldly when he saw that Lu Han was watching. Jiaohai poison solution, seriously. I don't know why, Tsunade felt very annoying from the first sight of Gui Jansho. Gui Jansho has a sense of contradiction that he can't explain clearly, which increases Tsunade's irritability. Oh, not necessarily, Lu Han smiled. In my opinion, the content here is just enough to make a suitable antidote. How much have you seen? How dare you speak out like this? I'll never forget it. Can I read it? If you can't come up with useful advice yet, please get out and don't send it. Hey. With your attitude, how can we cooperate? Who wants to work with you? You came uninvited. In fact, Tsunade is not a person who is good at verbal confrontation. She likes to speak with her fists, but she has been with Tsunade for a long time, and she is obviously good at talking. Well, let's make a bet that if I can solve the poison that Sunagaku used on Konoha this time, you promise me a condition. Luhan looked at Tsunade defiantly. What conditions? Don't worry, if you're really capable, Konoha won't treat you badly. Tsunade's tone softened a lot. Although she was super unhappy with the person in front of her, she didn't forget that detoxification is more important. The condition is, marry me, Luhan said in a very serious tone. Tsunade's face froze, killing intent flashed in his eyes, and then he said with a sneer, if my man hears what you just said, you are already a corpse. Chapter 0496 Orochimaru is a fool. Luhan was stunned for a moment, and then his heart blossomed with joy. My man. Tsunade just called me a man. Tsunade is the kind of woman who looks very feminine but is very restrained in her feelings. She has never said anything intimate to Luhan. Is it boring? Your man. Do you have a man? Luhan asked, pretending to be surprised, as if he knew something great. Is it strange to have a man at my age? Tsunade responded coldly, paused and then threatened. You'd better stop chewing your tongue. If what I said to you spreads out today, I promise you will become one corpse. I understand. Luhan hurriedly agreed, smiling mysteriously, as if I understood you. Seeing the ghosts and sorrows like this, Tsunade was very angry. Let's change the terms. As long as you can crack the poison, Konoha will try to accommodate your request. Tsunade added. Marry me. Guijien's sadness did not change. Boom. He landed with a punch and the ground shattered. Luhan jumped out when Tsunade attacked, and hurriedly shouted, just kidding, joking, why don't you have any sense of humor? If you dare to talk nonsense, I promise that it is you who will be crushed. Tsunade, who was about to explode with anger, bit Kiba's teeth. She just kept his hand, otherwise it must not be just the ground. Call. A figure suddenly appeared at the door of the room, and the terrifying aura diffused. If there was any substance, it quickly dissipated. Jiraiya looked at Tsunade and Luhan suspiciously, and asked, what's the situation? Tsunade, who is this guy? Of course, Jiraiya couldn't recognize Luhan, and Orochimaru didn't tell him clearly, he just heard the movement here came directly. Just a shameless person. Tsunade commented on Luhan, and immediately gave Jiraiya another sideways look. It's none of your business here. Is it really all right? Jiraiya asked worriedly, looking at Luhan with a puzzled look. For some reason, he saw Luhan's back a little familiar, but he couldn't remember it all of a sudden. The breath of ghosts and sorrows was too unfamiliar to him. Don't worry, we're just discussing the solution to the poison, because there are some minor differences in concept. This time it was Luhan who spoke, and he raised his eyebrows provocatively at Tsunade. Do you understand poison? Can you discuss it with Tsunade? Jiraiya not only didn't leave, but took 2 steps into the house, sending a lot of Luhan up and down. You, a third-rate warrior, also understand poison. Correction, it's the 3 swords style. Luhan reminded him, he was carrying 3 swords, and at first glance he looked like a 3 swords style samurai, and it was impossible for Jiraiya not to see it. Don't worry, you know poison. Jiraiya looked at Luhan with suspicion. Slightly understand. Aren't you here to make trouble? He was found by Orochimaru, called Jonsho. Tsunade interjected coldly. Orochimaru's friend. Jiraiya was shocked, and the suspicion in his eyes suddenly diminished. Orochimaru is very reliable, and the person who came here should be. Damn, it still looks unreliable. Stop gossiping, Master Tsunade. Luhan looked at Tsunade. Let's talk about poison. if I can make an antidote, then. Tsunade narrowed his eyes, staring at Gui Jancho, for fear that Gui Jancho would say, "Marry me, Jiraiya is here." "Then, promise me a request." "Don't worry, this request is guaranteed to be reasonable." "Well, reasonable request, I agree," Tsunade said, emphasizing the word, reasonable. "What is reasonable?" "Want money. Ninjutsu. To help. It's all reasonable, and, marry me, certainly doesn't count." "Wait a minute, I have a question," Jiraiya suddenly said, looking at Lu Han with a strange look. Focusing on Lu Han's face, her voice subconsciously lowered a lot. "I take the liberty to ask, what is your relationship with Orochimaru?" Lu Han's face stiffened, and he said with a stern face, "Orochimaru is an idiot." "Oh, it doesn't look like you have that kind of relationship. It scared me to death, I thought." Jiraiya looked relieved, and Lu Han felt a pain in his eyes. Southwest of the Land of Rain, in the dense forest at the foot of the mountain. 4 Sunagaku village Jonins gathered under the big tree, one of them holding a scroll portrait and talking to each other. "Is it him? You read that right?" "It's definitely him. How could it be wrong? That guy looks so distinctive." "Well, indeed, it is enough to make people remember at a glance, hehe. You are so courageous, you have killed Master Eli, and you still dare to stay in the country of rain. But speaking of it, this guy's ability to hide is really strong. A Megakure village has been cooperating with us in our search 6 days ago, but we just couldn't find him. Hey. We are so lucky, this reward is definitely indispensable." "Then now, what to do?" "He just entered the mountain. It's hard to say what's in the mountain. It's too close to the Konoha core station." The ninja holding the scroll portrait paused, thought for a moment, and then decided, "With our strength, we will hit the spot on the spot. It's easier to kill him, but it will be very difficult to capture him alive for the adults to deal with. Well, the 2 of you go back to report, and you, to dispatch a squadron of reconnaissance puppets. I'll be here to guard." 1 day later. On the southwestern border of the Land of Rain, in the camp of the Sunagaku 3rd Army Corps. "Then please Takakai-sama." Ito looked at the tall ninja in front of him and said. "Where is it?" Takumino, the commander of Sunagaku's 3rd Main Battle Corps, smiled and waved his hand, and immediately sighed again, "Alas. Brother, my condolences and change. You can rest assured, since there is a portrait and obvious characteristics, if you want to find this person and it's not difficult, I will try my best." "Thank you." Ito Teru nodded slightly, then drank the tea instead of the wine. In the past 7 or 8 days, Ito Teru has never rested in order to find the murderer. He contacted a Megakure and visited all the commanders of the major legions, in order to mobilize as much energy as possible and find the murderer as soon as possible. Just then, there were hurried footsteps outside the door. "Report, your lord. Found traces of black market warriors." Chapter 0497_Fight Poison with Poison. "What?" Ito Teru stood up suddenly, then disappeared with a flicker, and appeared outside the door again, looking down at the messenger ninja kneeling on one knee and said solemnly, "Where?" "The southern foot of the Yunyu Mountains in the northwest of Battlefield No. 2, the Blackwood Forest." The reporting ninja spoke extremely fast. "There." Ito Teru frowned. "Mountains." The 2nd Konoha Main Battle Legion was stationed there. It was already the rear of the 2nd Konoha Legion. It was heavily guarded and extremely dangerous. Even though Ito Teru's strength is there, he can come and go freely, just don't come into direct contact with Konoha, but he is not going to hang out, but to kill. Too many uncertainties. "Sir, this is the detailed information." The reporting ninja immediately took out the scroll and handed it to Ito Teru. The content on the scroll quickly made Ito Teru's face gloomy. He wants to kill the black-clothed samurai, and the revenge of killing his son is undeniable, but he must consider the influence of Konoha's existence. It is easy to kill the black-clothed samurai, but if Konoha discovers the murder, the trouble will be fought. Ito Teru hesitated and struggled in his heart. He knew the danger, but he didn't want to give up. "Damn." Ito Teru let out a low voice, bit Kiba and disappeared. Sunagakure puppet troops were stationed closer to the Yunu Mountains. Ito-Teru hurried back, and after a brief secret meeting with Chiyo, left alone. The reason why he came back to Chiyo for discussion was naturally because Chiyo was resourceful. He hoped that Chiyo could give him suitable advice, and Chiyo did give him suitable advice. Go alone. Quick fight. It's that simple. It seems simple, but in fact Chiyo has considered it very comprehensively. In fact, Ito-Teru can bring many masters there, but it is not worth it to kill a black samurai. Moreover, once Konoha finds out, Ito-Teru will definitely be able to escape. What about the others? It was easier for Ito-Teru to pass alone, and he could fight and retreat. Dai believes in Ito-Teru's strength very much. The puppet army is Sunagakure's most luxurious and most powerful troop. Ito-Teru is the chief puppet master. Of course, Sunagakure also has several terrible puppet masters who are not inferior to Ito-Teru, such as Chiyo, but to say that 100% must be stronger than Teru Ito, no. However, although Chiyo believed in Teru Ito, she still gave some help to Teru Ito just to be on the safe side. It's a bottle of poison. A bottle of strong poison enough to kill the elite Jonin directly, with no solution. In the mountains, secret strongholds. There is a mountain wall behind a row of wooden houses. There is a cave at the bottom. After entering, there is a cave. This is a temporary resettlement area. After entering the cave, there is a long passage. There is a cave stone room every few meters on both sides of the passage. 9 stone chambers house 9 Konoha Chunin who are in a coma with poisoning, and are all cared for by medical ninjas. These 9 Konoha ninjas are Tsunade's research objects, and the other poisoned ninjas are all in the base camp and are taken care of collectively. The reason why Tsunade chose the research site here is that he doesn't want to be disturbed and urged, and the second is that there are many herbs in this call, where Tsunade can use the freshest herbs to make antidote for the first time. Noon today. Inside the third stone. The poisoned Chunin lay flat on the wooden cave, which was placed in the middle of the stone chamber, and there were 3 people around the wooden cave. Tsunade, Jiraiya, Gue Jonsho. This is your last chance, understand? Tsunade said with a cold face. She had no patience to follow this girly warrior to study poisons. For a day and a night, Tsunade didn't do her own research, and was always cooperating with this guy. Speaking of which, this guy still has some skills, at least he understands pharmacology and can dispense medicines, but what Tsunade can't tolerate is that this guy only uses the detoxification method in Zhaohai Yaoji. One day and one night, the 3 of them stayed awake. Gue Jonsho was in charge of preparing the prescription and dispensing the poison, Tsunade attacked, and Jiraiya was purely accompanying. 12 antidotes have been formulated before, all of which are ineffective. Tsunade was really impatient. Don't be in such a hurry to drive me away. Don't be afraid of failure, there will always be success. Luhan looked very relaxed and had to admit that Chiyo's poison was really difficult to solve. It may be solved, there is no other reason. Zhaohai detoxification is something from more than 10 years ago, and it was written before Zhaohai betrayed Konoha. However, Luhan's detoxification did not rely on Zhaohai detoxification, but the ability of Zhaohai that was even more profound. Zhaohai has only been dead for more than a year. After he wrote Konoha detoxification, before his death, and during this period of time, he betrayed Konoha and joined the Omegakure village. He has been trained by Hanzo for more than 10 years, and his ability to detoxify has grown by leaps and bounds. If the content recorded in Zhaohai detoxification has LV1 detoxification ability, then Master Luhan's is LV6. Don't talk nonsense, let's see if it works this time, or I can go to bed. Jiraiya said with a yawn, with a lazy look. It must be successful. Luhan smiled and glanced at Tsunade. Remember our agreement. After saying that, Luhan took out a small bottle from his arms. The transparent glass bottle, which is very small, contains a deep yuhi-colored liquid, mixed with some dirty black spots. It doesn't look like an antidote, it looks like a poison. This antidote, oral and topical, does not require chakra to catalyze. During the process of detoxification, the poisoned person may experience some uncomfortable symptoms, but just bear with it. Luhan said while putting the cap on the bottle. Open it, and motioned to Jiraiya to pick up the poisoned chunin. Wait a minute, Tsunade drank suddenly, staring at Luhan. After opening the cap, Tsunade smelled an unusual smell. What's wrong? Luhan blinked at Tsunade. Let me check. Tsunade snatched the antidote into his hands, and first used chakra to probe into it to check its properties. His face darkened a bit, but he didn't seem to give up. He lowered his head and smelled the antidote. A disgusting smell. Is this the antidote you developed? Tsunade looked up gloomily. Yeah, what's the problem? This is clearly a pure poison. Yes, fight poison with poison. Chapter 0498 Against Common Sense. Tackling poison with poison. Tsunade's voice suddenly rose an octave, and his eyes were full of anger when he looked at Luhan. You dare to fight poison with poison? Yeah, what's the problem? Luhan blinked in confusion. Tsunade breathed a little faster. His white eyes were bloodshot, and Ultimate said with anger, do you know that this is an advanced poison developed by Sunagaku Chiyo? I know, what's the problem? Luhan was stunned by Tsunade's shout. Knowing that it is a high-level poison, how dare you use it to fight poison? Can't advanced poison fight poison with poison? Tsunade was almost choked to death by Luhan. His face flushed hue. He held his breath for a few seconds before roaring, do you have any common sense? Common sense. Luhan was taken aback for a moment, then a flash of light flashed in his mind. He figured it out. The concept of fighting poison with poison has existed for thousands of years, but it is unusually cold. For thousands of years, neither ordinary person poison masters nor ninja poison masters have done in-depth research on this concept. The reason is that it is too dangerous and non-toxic. Antidotes are used on people, they are useless and have no side effects, while poisonous antidotes are used on people who are poisoned. However, after thousands of years of accumulation, the method of detoxification is a small development, but it can only be used to crack low-level poisons. Low-level poison is weak and deadly to ordinary people. For ninjas, especially medical ninjas, it can be said to be harmless. Using one low-level poison to crack another low-level poison, even if there is an accident, it can be timely. Save. But high-level poison does not work. The poison is too violent and the composition is too complicated. If you use another high-level poison to detoxify, the two poisons will collide in the human body and cannot be detoxified, and the advanced ninja will die. Therefore, there is a consensus in the ninja world today that fighting poison with poison can be used, but it can only be used to deal with low-level poison, otherwise it is equivalent to murder. Tsunade questioned whether Luhan had common sense, and that's what he said. And Luhan really has no common sense. Because Luhan's detoxification ability comes from Zhaohai. This guy, Zhaohai, has done in-depth research on the concept of fighting poison with poison when he was in Konoha, but he has not done too many experiments, because the environment of Konoha does not allow it. So in Zhaohai detoxification, although he wrote a lot about fighting poison with poison. But the highest also involves some non-lethal intermediate poisons. This is also the reason why Tsunade disdains Zhaohai after watching Zhaohai detoxification. She thinks that Zhaohai's research ideas are completely wrong. Fighting poison with poison. This is already a topic that ninja poison masters disdain to study. Only ordinary people poison masters will study it, but they have no choice. Without the ability of ninjas, low-level poisons can't handle it. A low-level medical ninjutsu can easily solve it. Poison is enough to make the most respected old doctors helpless among ordinary people. When they use the concept of fighting poison with poison, they are helpless after being helpless. Why Tsunade seemed to be mad when Luhan was about to fight poison with poison? Common sense. Common sense. What Tsunade didn't know was that it was also Konoha. After he betrayed Konoha and joined Omegakure, he conducted a lot of experiments on living bodies, and made great achievements in the field of detoxification with poison. Zhao Hai is definitely a genius. In fact, Zhao Hai is also helpless. He has studied how difficult it is to fight poison with poison. Every poison master and doctor understands that Zhao Hai would not go this way if it wasn't for his poor ninja's strength. It can be said that if Zhao Hai is still alive, he will be the most poisonous master in the ninja world who uses poison to fight poison. Now that he is dead, Lu Han is number 1. Actually, why didn't try it? Facing Tsunade's gaze, Lu Han said with some guilty conscience, maybe it can detoxify. It's not that Lu Han has no confidence in the poison, but that he is afraid that Tsunade will suddenly act, and the play will not be able to continue. What are you calling us Konoha ninjas? Are you your test subject? Tsunade was still furious. Her attitude is already obvious, no. Even if Lu Han explained his true identity now, it probably wouldn't work. The method of fighting poison with poison cannot be used to deal with high-level poisons. This is Tsunade's bottom line as a doctor. Then, well, return the antidote to me, the head office. Lu Han seemed to give up. Tsunade threw the small bottle back in disgust. Lu Han grabbed it quickly and almost fell. Go away, don't let me see you again. Tsunade's tone was cold, really angry. She now hates this samurai named Kikanzu from the bottom of her heart, because this guy doesn't have the least respect for the life of the Konoha ninja. Don't worry, Lu Han said, and took out a small cloth bag from his arms. After opening it, there was a kunai inside. The blade of the kunai flashed with a faint blue color. This is a hardened kunai. Poison weapons, from the Sunagaku Corps, are trophies used by Konoha for research, and the bitter poison is the culprit of the recent poisoning of a large number of Konoha ninjas. What are you going to do? Tsunade squinted at Lu Han, not knowing what trick Lu Han was going to play. I firmly believe that my antidote is useful, Lu Han said, turning his wrist at the same time. The poisoned kuwu slashed the back of his hand, and the deep wound was bleeding. Ding! Remind Subversive 3665 that you have entered a poisoned state. The elf's voice sounded in Lu Han's ears. Tsunade's eyes suddenly widened, and he looked at Lu Han with a bewildered expression. She already knew what Lu Han was going to do. Since you can't use the antidote, which is a highly toxic drug, on the Konoha ninja, use it on yourself. This guy must be crazy. Jiraiya on the other side of the wooden collapse shook his head. He didn't know much about detoxification, but he believed in Tsunade. The toxicity is good, Lu Han muttered in his heart. When the poison quickly flowed through his body through his blood medicine, he had a deeper understanding of the poison. This poison can only poison elite Jonin at most. But the elite Jonin is too strong enough to suppress the poison. In other words, with Lu Han's strength, he can easily refine this poison. Of course, he didn't do it. He was able to fight poison with poison. Under Tsunade's wide-eyed gaze, Lu Han drank the bottle of poisonous antidote. Chapter 0499 on gambling. I drank half of it, and the rest fell on the wound on the back of my hand. I am a little dizzy. My heart is racing. I'm starting to sweat. Lu Han immediately began to talk about his discomfort. Although these conditions were mild to him, he was tolerant. The whole thing is too strong, and most of the antidote is used on Genin Chunin. The mild discomfort on Lu Han will definitely become serious when it comes to Genin Chunin. Tsunade stared at Lu Han, and at this moment, she deeply understood what a lunatic was. She was very nervous and contradictory. On the one hand, she hated the bastard in front of her too much. Even if this guy died, she would not take a second look, but the antidote was too much to do, and she hoped that fighting poison with poison would be successful. A moment of silence. It's been a while. Okay, Lu Han said again, as far as those situations are concerned, if it happened to Genin, the danger is not too big, it's just more painful. Detox. Tsunade couldn't believe it. Yes, Lu Han nodded. Tsunade stepped forward and grabbed Lu Han's wrist. The unique chakra penetrated into Lu Han's body and searched quickly. Lu Han's body was empty. He didn't transform chakra, so naturally there was no chakra. Tsunade pinched Lu Han's wrist and didn't move. How? Jiraiya couldn't help asking. Tsunade let go of Lu Han's wrist and stared into Lu Han's eyes. You won. Detoxification success. Tsunade didn't find any poison residues in Lu Han's body, so it was difficult for her to question anymore, because even if she could resolve the two poisons with her own strength, the poison residues couldn't be removed so quickly. It is eliminated from the body by means of perspiration or excretion by accelerating metabolism. This is a recipe for detoxification. Lu Han had long known that this would be the outcome. With a triumphant expression on his face, while speaking, he took out a piece of paper from his arms and handed it to Tsunade. Antidote formula. There are as many as 39 kinds of natural herbal medicines, 7 of which are natural highly toxic herbal medicines, which are secretly prepared by 12 techniques. Lu Han also made a note at the end, reminding him to be careful. This antidote can bring down Jonin. Chio's poison can also bring down Jonin. Only elite Jonin can suppress it, and cooperate with medical ninjas to detoxify, but Jonin can't. At present, the ninjas of the second Konoha Corps who have been poisoned are mostly Genin Chunin, a few are Jonin, and there is no elite Jonin. Although the advanced combat power of the second corps has not been greatly damaged, the high-level ninjas are few after all. Logistics. In the afternoon, there was a small wooden house with very few furnishings and a pot of tea on the square table. Lu Han and Tsunade sat opposite each other. The detoxification formula has been sent out, and it will be delivered to the 2nd Legion station in a short time. The medical ninja over there will prepare the poisonous antidote, and here, there are other medical ninjas who are responsible for preparing more poisonous antidote. Come to detoxify those poisoned ninjas used for research. Tsunade is only in charge of researching the antidote, and the others do not need to be personally involved. However, today's antidote was not researched by her. I'm sorry, you made me understand that there are people who are outside the world and there are heavens outside the world. I shouldn't despise you. Tsunade poured tea for Lu Han himself, showing enough apology. She can be considered to be able to put it down, not because she was slapped in the face and annoyed. You, welcome, haha, as long as Lord Tsunade remembers our agreement. Lu Han smiled. A bit mean. Naturally remember. Tsunade also poured himself a cup of tea, raised his eyes to look at Lu Han. If you have any conditions, just mention it, as long as it is reasonable. Conditions. Lu Han dragged a long tone, slowly brought the teacup to his mouth, and drank slowly, his eyes always looking at Tsunade. It was an aggressive look that made Tsunade extremely uncomfortable. Tsunade was annoyed, but had to keep her anger down. She knew that the bastard samurai in front of her was a geek who could crack high-level poisons in a way that would help Konoha a lot. Bang! The table suddenly shook, and Tsunade took out a dice clock from nowhere and slapped it on the table. Betting. Tsunade raised his eyebrows provocatively at Lu Han. PFF'd. Lu Han spit out all the tea he just drank. What time is this? What is this occasion? Bet. How big is your gambling addiction? Ahem, I'm sorry. Lu Han quickly wiped someone on the table with his sleeve, and then asked, Master Tsunade's reputation for gambling is honored as the legendary Big White Sheep, and it really lives up to his reputation. There are thorns in the words. Gamble or not? Tsunade asked again unmoved. Bet what? Betting on that condition, or asking, if I beat me, you're not allowed to make any more conditions to Konoha. What if you lose? If you lose, I'll give you money, 1 million taels. Aren't you going to be mad? Stop talking nonsense and gamble or not. Betting, why not betting? Come. Lu Han responded quickly. Tsunade must lose. Every gamble is not as simple as rumors, but the original setting. This guy has bad luck. Clap lala. Tsunade rolls the dice first. The rules are very simple. Compare the size. 3-6 are the largest. 3-1 is the smallest. There is no such thing as a leopard. The winner is determined in one round. Snapped. The dice clock slammed on the table again. Tsunade stared at Lu Han, slowly opened the lid, and then her face became extremely ugly. 1, 2, 2, 5 in total. With a very small number of points, Lu Han's chances of winning are too big. Do I still use the shake? Lu Han was also a little surprised, and then laughed. Tsunade's gambling luck is really not bad. I'll never admit defeat. Tsunade's face was already dark. Okay, then I'll convince you. Lu Han grinned, closed the lid, picked up the dice clock, shook it 2 or 3 times, and put it back. Tsunade is a pure gambler and disdains cheating, while Lu Han doesn't want to cheat at all, so neither of them used chakra to interfere with the dice. Open. Lu Han opened the lid with a smile, and then his smile froze, showing an expression like he was about to vomit blood. 1 point, 1 point, 2 points, 4 points in total. Tsunade wins. Chapter 0500 It's harvest season again. Lu Han was completely stunned. What is this luck? This is the bad luck that can only be obtained by deceiving the widow's feelings in the past life. Tsunade rolls the dice first. She has already rolled out a very small number. Lu Han thought he was winning. Tsunade is famous for losing every time he gambles, but Lu Han is not. Tsunade was also very stunned. He was stunned for a while, and then he burst out laughing wildly. Ha ha ha, ha 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 ha, I won, ha ha ha, I won. Tsunade laughed like a psychopath, because she hadn't won for a long time. She knew she had bad luck in gambling, but she kept expecting treat people with worse gambling luck than yourself. It seems to have come across. Fuck. Lu Han suddenly understood something, stood up abruptly, stared at the dice on the table and squinted slightly, then dodged and disappeared in place. Tsunade could no longer feel Lu Han's breath. Huh. Tsunade was stunned for a moment, then blinked softly and muttered, "You can actually know ninjutsu, even though it's only a low-level ninjutsu. This samurai, I really don't know where Orochimaru met. Forget it, just leave, and follow. What does it have to do with me? Such a bad character, I really don't want to see him again." Tsunade immediately put Gui Jansho behind him, and had already won back that request, so naturally he had nothing to do with it. Outside the mountain where the secret stronghold is located, there are vast mountains and forests. This is a deep mountain, inaccessible to people, and there are often beasts, many of which are powerful ninja beasts, so almost no ordinary people come here. Even ninjas, Chunin genin, have to come in groups. It's not that I have bad luck, it's not me, it's Tsunade. Her luck has gotten stronger. According to the original book, she will be better at gambling before she encounters danger, or her relatives. Naoki is still going to school in Konoha. No, there is danger. Lu Han appeared in the forest, flickering and moving again and again, chanting words in his mouth. Reason why he left in such a hurry is because he thinks Tsunade is about to be in danger, and since Tsunade has no plan to leave here in the short term, it can be judged that danger will come to him. That's why Lu Han left. He searched early, looking for what would bring danger to Tsunade. Tsunade's strength has crossed the threshold of cage level. Plus Jiraiya, Orochimaru, who can bring danger to Tsunade. Lu Han already had an idea, but he wasn't sure yet. The insight map was fully open, covering a 10-kilometer radius. Searching for this kind of thing couldn't be easier for Lu Han. 2 minutes after he left the call, he found the target. The insight map showed that the big Yuhi point was the scout puppet of the Sunagaku puppet army. Level 30 gold boss, Suzuki Edge. Near the Suzuki side, there are 5 or 6 Yuhi spots, which are basically Sunagaku ninjas. Sure enough, it's Sunagaku. When they come here, once they discover the secret stronghold in the mountains, they will bring danger to Tsunade. Lu Han's previous thoughts were confirmed. He didn't think why Sunagaku appeared here, because there are too many possibilities. Sex, passing by. Scouting in Konoha's second control zone. What are they interested in this mountain? Dodge the chase. It is possible. The reason is no longer important, because Lu Han intends to kill them. Puppet masters. They are all puppet masters. Ha ha ha, you can't kill them directly, you have to be slow, so that they have a chance to summon the puppets, and I can get the psychic badge. The more Luhan thought about it, the more excited he became. Super Elite Jonin. Luhan will not be so excited, he doesn't feel it when he kills, and the explosion rate is low without the first kill, but the puppet master is different, as long as the puppet can be summoned, no matter whether there is a first kill, Luhan can get the pass by killing. Spirit Badge. At present, he has a total of 76 psychic badges, of which 15 were obtained before, 61 were obtained by the puppet who killed Itoi's group last time, and the 20 puppets contributed 61 to Luhan. The psychic badge has a very low explosion rate. In fact, if you really want to count it, the low explosion rate of non-first kills is outrageous. But what does it matter? Luhan didn't take any risk in killing them, just like cutting melons and vegetables. It's harvest season. Suzuki is a very experienced task-oriented puppet master in Sunagakure village, and his pure reconnaissance ability is not inferior to that of the scout Jonin of the same level. He also has puppet support. The vast mountains and forests are filled with fog, and the fog is very light, but it also makes it impossible for people to see far. Damn it, it's been 2 days since the fog cleared up. Suzuki ran at the front, followed by several Sunagakure Chunin puppet masters. For the black-clothed warriors, their scout squadron, which was temporarily dispatched, formulated a comprehensive blockade and search plan, and divided them into small groups. First, the area in the deep mountains was briefly blocked, and then they approached the center synchronously, but the fog in the deep Yamanaka gave them the search made it difficult, and they didn't dare to use ninjutsu to clear the fog, which might be seen by the black-robed warrior who didn't know where to hide. Who are you? What are you doing here? Suddenly, there was a sound, and at the same time, a samurai dressed in black slowly walked out of the fog. The faces of the few people beside Suzuki changed drastically, almost subconsciously posing in a battle formation, and cut their palms, hands seal psychic. Bang, 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 bang. Total of 7 Chunin, and a total of 18 puppets have been summoned. The weakest is the level 28 Abyss boss, and the strongest is the level 38 Lord boss. Nice job, said the warrior in black, grinning. The figure suddenly disappeared. Knife light up. The blood is spreading. An hour later, in the northwest of the call, it was still in the mountains and forests. Luhan breathed out flames, burning all the puppet fragments and ninja corpses that were thrown together to ashes. This was the 6th Sunagakure puppet squad he had cleared, and the last one around here. These 6 Sunagakure squads were just enough to form a ninja squadron, and it was an elite squadron led by 6 Jonin. Get it done. After cleaning up the battlefield, Luhan stood on the tree with a satisfied smile. Great harvest. Today, he killed a total of 91 puppets. Although they were a group of rubbish with weak strength, they contributed 182 psychic medals to Luhan. A day later, Luhan will have the opportunity to enter the subversive space again, and at this time the number of his psychic badges has reached 258.